Chapter 7:18. There were hundreds of hot spring pavilions in the hot spring palace. Each pavilion had a mind-isolating formation. Even ordinary void fragmentation experts would not be able to pry into other people's baths. The Heaven No. 1 Hot Spring Pavilion had a particularly strong mind-isolating formation. Even mortal profound life immortals would not be able to pry into it. The maidservant who was leading the way deliberately swayed her soft waist in front of Ning Fan. Occasionally, she would turn around and look at Ning Fan with a hint of seductiveness. She was not a virgin. She was just a harmonious spirit female cultivator. If she could gain Ning Fan's pity and have a night of pleasure, the benefits would be great. If Ning Fan casually gave her some pills, it would be enough for her to use for the rest of her life. Unfortunately, Ning Fan did not look at her from the beginning to the end. His eyes were always looking at Ouyang Nuan, who was beside him, with a smile. "You are very nervous." "Why?" Ning Fan teased. "No, why?" "No, I'm not nervous." Ouyang Nuan's mind gradually went blank. Her thoughts became sluggish. "I think what you are worried about is unlikely to happen. I don't like to take advantage of others." Ning Fan smiled again. "Then you promise." Ouyang Nuan looked at Ning Fan with a short breath. "I can't promise." "Pervert. If you dare to take advantage of me, I will release my little fur ball to bite you." "All right. If you release your little fur ball to bite me, I will take advantage of you." At this moment, Ouyang Nuan was not as indifferent as before. Instead, she showed the shyness of a little girl. Ning Fan found it interesting. He would tease Ouyang Nuan from time to time. The maid leading the way was disappointed. She did not understand what was so good about the ugly woman beside Ning Fan. Why would Ning Fan spend so much effort to please her? Yes, in the eyes of outsiders, Ouyang Nuan was just an old and ugly woman. Besides, Ouyang Nuan's current chi was too weak. She was just like an early harmonious spirit cultivator. How could a mere harmonious spirit servant notice that Ouyang Nuan was a void fragmentation fourth heavenly layer expert? When they arrived at the Heaven No. 1 Hot Spring Pavilion, the maid looked at Ning Fan affectionately. She felt that her cultivation base and appearance were above Ouyang Nuan. She felt that even Ouyang Nuan had a chance to get close to Ning Fan. She also had a chance. "Senior, don't you need beauties to serve you?" Her expression was 30% charming and 70% gentle. She was exactly the type that many men liked. Ouyang Nuan frowned. She didn't like this kind of loose woman who offered herself as a pillow. "No need, you can leave now. While you're at it, tell your shopkeeper that I don't need other women to serve me. She's enough. While I'm in the hot spring pavilion, anyone who trespasses will be killed without mercy." Ning Fan's tone was cold without any warmth. The harmonious spirit maid felt as if she had fallen into a bottomless ice cave. Her whole body was trembling. She had forgotten that the person standing in front of her was a tyrannical devil, an esteemed guest. He was not someone she could casually seduce. Without any hesitation, the harmonious spirit maid hurriedly excused herself. Those beautiful female cultivators who were preparing to climb into Ning Fan's bed turned pale. None of them dared to go to the pavilion to serve Ning Fan. "Didn't you hear what Ning Fan said? Any trespassers will be killed without mercy." Ning Fan and Ouyang Nuan entered the hot spring pavilion. Although it was called a pavilion, it was actually a small palace. On the first floor of the pavilion, there was a huge hot spring with a stone path leading to a secluded place. The fire elemental energy was extremely dense. On the second floor of the pavilion, there were pill refinement rooms, weapon refinement rooms, cultivation rooms and other facilities. Naturally, there was also a place where one could have sex. Unfortunately, Ning Fan did not come here to have sex with Ouyang Nuan. Otherwise, he could have left a good memory in this place. "Harry Ball's father, aren't you a cultivator of the yin-yang transformation? Why didn't you take away those human cauldrons that came knocking on your door?" Ouyang Nuan asked with a smile. She did not like that kind of woman at first. Since Ning Fan had chased away those women, she was naturally in a good mood. "Aren't you just a ready-made human cauldron? Why do you need them?" As soon as Ning Fan finished speaking, he spent several 100 million Dao crystals in the hot spring pavilion to set up an immortal formation. He just wanted to be careful. He was here to help Ouyang Nuan refine the soul jade. Naturally, He did not want any accidents to happen. After setting up the formation, Ning Fan took out the jade box that contained the soul jade and placed it beside the hot spring. Then he took off his storage pouch and kept the cauldron ring into his body. Then he began to take off his clothes. What are you doing? Ouyang turned around in embarrassment. The moment she turned around, she clearly saw that Ning Fan was stripping himself naked in an extremely familiar manner. Take off your clothes and soak yourself in the hot spring. Ning Fan took the jade box and sat down in the hot spring. The water in the pool was barely above his chest. With the reddish water covering the pool, he could not see what was going on under the water. Sensing the unusually dense fire elemental power in the pool, Ning Fan nodded in satisfaction. The fire elemental power in this place is very dense. Quickly come down and soak yourself in the pool. Take the soul jade and refine it. Turn your back to me. I will help you refine this jade. The fire veins in any place on the purple flame star are not weak. Why do you have to choose this place? Ouyang was so embarrassed that her face turned red. She still felt that Ning Fan wanted to take advantage of her. When she approached the hot spring, she suddenly lowered her head and saw her face in the water. Ouyang smiled self-deprecatingly. She had forgotten. She had really forgotten. She had forgotten that she was no longer the #1 beauty of the medicine sect. She was just an ugly old woman. Because Ning Fan had been treating her the same as before, she had actually forgotten the fact that she had become ugly. It was ridiculous that she was still worried that Ning Fan would take advantage of her. If he really wanted to take advantage of her, there were plenty of beauties outside the door. Why would he need to take advantage of an ugly woman like her? All right. I'll come down right away. Wait for a moment. Ouyang sighed faintly. Harry Ball, who was in her bosom, looked at the steaming hot spring and shivered a little. It was unwilling to get into the water. Lingzhe liked cold but feared heat. He hated being soaked in hot water. Ouyang threw Harry Ball to the side of the pool and took out a small pill bottle from her sleeve. She poured out a few pills and fed them to it. Then she gently gritted her teeth and turned her back to Ning Fan. She gently removed her veil and began to unbutton her clothes one by one. Anyway, I don't have anything to look at now. If you want to look at me, go ahead. Pieces of thin veil gently fell to the ground. After removing her stockings, Ouyang walked into the hot spring with a calm heart and walked towards Ning Fan. Ning Fan looked at Ouyang playfully and said with a faint smile, "Air, why do you want to take off your clothes? There's no rule that says that I must take off my clothes when refining the soul jade, right? Didn't you take off your clothes? Why didn't you tell me earlier that you don't need to take off your clothes? I'm used to taking off my clothes to soak in the bath. I'll take off mine. You really don't need to learn from me." Ning Fan teased her. Plopped at Ouyang who was originally calm, immediately blushed when Ning Fan's gaze landed on her. She suddenly sat down in the pool and covered her chest with her arms, splashing water everywhere. Damn it. When she saw Ning Fan taking off his clothes, she subconsciously followed suit and took off her clothes. She was not here to take a bath. She was here to refine the soul jade. It did not matter whether she took off her clothes or not. She must have been out of her mind to take off her clothes like Ning Fan did. I didn't expect that an intelligent girl like Air would also have moments of foolishness. Hold the soul jade and turn your back to me. I will help you refine this jade. Don't worry. I won't peek at you. Ouyang neck turned red. She thought to herself, "You've already seen everything, all right." Even though it's not that pretty. The moment she held the soul jade, her hands immediately froze at a slow speed. If it wasn't for the fact that they were in a place with dense fire elemental energy, with her current cultivation base, perhaps her entire body would have been frozen by the soul jade in an instant. Is the reason why Ning Fan chose this place to refine the soul jade really because the fire elemental energy here is strong enough? Ouyang eyelids drooped slightly. She did not know if she was disappointed or relieved. She turned around and sat with her back facing Ning Fan, exposing her entire back to him. She did not think that her dry and wrinkled skin would be able to arouse his interest. Traces of ice began to freeze her hands. The frost gradually spread up her arms. Ouyang gritted her teeth and tried to refine the soul jade and break the ice seal with her own strength. However, she could not do it no matter what. All of a sudden, her body tensed up because a warm palm was moving up and down her back, which was not smooth at all. Ning Fan's hand was touching her body intimately. Traces of heat from the devil flames flowed from her back to her entire body. Gradually, all the frost on her body melted. What felt even hotter was not the devil flames but her burning cheeks. Fortunately, she was ugly right now. Otherwise, she would definitely die of embarrassment in this hot spring. Don't let your imagination run wild. Focus on refining the soul jade. Ning Fan's tone was calm. As expected, he did not have the slightest desire. After knowing this fact, Ouyang felt slightly disappointed again. When a woman is so ugly that she cannot arouse the interest of the person she likes even when she is naked, how sad is that? Wait a minute. When did I like Ning Fan? She suddenly felt afraid of her own thoughts. After thinking about it carefully, if she did not like Ning Fan, why would she come to such an ambiguous place with him half-heartedly? Ah. Ning Fan, why you're so perverted? Ouyang suddenly felt that someone had touched her buttocks. She turned around and glared at Ning Fan, holding the soul jade in one hand and covering her breasts with the other. How did I pervert you? Ning Fan rubbed his forehead helplessly. He just wanted to help Ouyang refine the soul jade. Why did she have so many thoughts in her head? Oh, the criminal took the initiative to admit her guilt. She was playing in the water, sticking out her little tongue from time to lick Ouyang. Why is it you? Stinky furball. Ouyang grabbed the furball and threw it back to the edge of the pool. She thought that it was Ning Fan who did it just now. It turned out that it was the little furball who was playing tricks. Well, that was true. She was so ugly now. Ning Fan would only touch her buttocks out of boredom. Are you very disappointed? Ning Fan seemed to have understood something. He looked at Ouyang with a faint smile. Why would I be disappointed? Let's continue refining the soul jade. Alright. Just as Ouyang turned around, she suddenly felt her waist being wrapped by a strong arm and hugged from behind. Immediately after, she felt her cold back pressing against Ning Fan's warm chest. To be honest, the current Ouyang was really not ugly. However, she could not be considered as the #1 beauty of the medicine sect. Even though her hair was white and her skin was slightly wrinkled, her eyes and brows were still very lively and beautiful. Besides, after absorbing some of the power of the soul jade, Ouyang skin actually became somewhat tender. The soul jade could not extend her lifespan, but it could slightly restore her former beauty. After losing her beauty, Ouyang felt extremely inferior. That was why she felt that she was not attractive in any way. It should be said that Ning Fan's willpower was too strong. After all, for cultivators who practice dual cultivation methods, if their willpower was not strong enough, they would directly be devoured by the method. What are you doing? Quickly let go of me. Ouyang felt that her heart was beating very fast. Her body turned soft and leaned against Ning Fan's chest, unable to move at all. Just refine the soul jade like this. Let me take a little advantage of you. What do you think? Ning Fan teased. Ouyang was speechless. She thought to herself, you're already taking advantage of me. I'm already soft. How can I resist? Ning Fan extended his left hand and held Ouyang left hand that was holding the jade, helping her refine the soul jade. As for his right hand, he stroked her lower abdomen from left to right, not moving up or down. Indeed, he was only taking a little advantage of her. For some reason, Ouyang face became hotter and hotter. However, her heart became calmer and calmer. Traces of coolness spread from her palm to her body. It felt very comfortable. Ouyang actually fell asleep peacefully. She slept for 10 days. After Ouyang fell asleep, Ning Fan stopped teasing her. He heaved a sigh and closed his eyes, focusing on helping her refine the soul jade. Like the dry land that had been rejuvenated and moisturized, Ouyang skin became as delicate as before. Her face was as beautiful as before. Her perky and round breasts were so alluring that it made Ning Fan's breathing stop occasionally. Only her white hair was still so eye-catching. It was a sign that she was nearing the end of her lifespan. After eating and drinking her fill, the little fur ball lay beside the pond and slept for a few days. Ning Fan hugged the softness in his arms. All the thoughts in his heart turned into pity when he saw her white hair. As he stroked Ouyang incomparably soft and smooth hair, his eyes gradually filled with determination. He must obtain the longevity jade no matter what. I seem to have slept for a long time. I'm still a little sleepy. The woman in his arms gently moaned and rubbed her eyes, as if she had not woken up yet. Ouyang gently turned over on Ningfan's chest. Her pair of tender and white arms subconsciously wrapped around Ningfan's neck and rested her head on his chest. Her two big white buns pressed against Ningfan's body softly. It felt really good to the touch. Suddenly, Ouyang was jolted awake. She opened her eyes in disbelief and found herself nestled in Ningfan's arms in such an ambiguous manner. For a moment she felt like dying. We. She suddenly pushed Ningfan away. She was so nervous that she could not speak coherently. Nothing happened between us. However, the soul jade has been completely refined. The current you is very seductive. Ningfan deliberately scanned her body with his scorching eyes. Only then did Ouyang notice that her skin was very fair and tender, just like before. She hurriedly stood up from the hot spring and observed her fair and tender skin, perfect legs and slender feet. She found it hard to believe. For a moment, she did not notice that her actions had shown Ningfan such a beautiful scene. I think I can't hold it in any longer. Ningfan's faint voice suddenly entered Ouyang ears. After being stunned for a moment, her face turned red all of a sudden. Ningfan was sitting right in front of her legs. She slightly parted her legs and displayed her most alluring posture, displaying her most beautiful parts to Ningfan. Those who did not know better would think that she was seducing Ningfan. When Ningfan said he couldn't hold it in, of course he was referring to that as pervert. Ouyang hurriedly ran out of the hot spring and picked up the clothes on the ground. Then she grabbed the little fur ball that was sleeping soundly and ran to the second floor to change her clothes. Her heart was still thumping wildly. Ningfan looked at Ouyang fleeing appearance and nodded satisfyingly. After the bet that day, Ouyang regained her will to live on. This time, the charm and gentleness had truly untied the knot in her heart that made her feel ashamed of her inferiority. As long as she could find the longevity jade and completely solve the problem of her lifespan, she could return to the happy and peaceful life in the past. Longevity jade. Ningfan's expression suddenly turned cold and his face was covered with frost. After leaving the hot spring palace, he was afraid that there would be countless battles waiting for him to fight. It was too difficult to join the slaughter palace as a cultivator from the outside world. However, no matter what, he had to join the slaughter palace. After all, this was the first step to obtaining the longevity jade. And this was just the first step. There were still many things that he needed to do. Screech! A joyful cry suddenly sounded from the cauldron ring, directly reaching Ningfan's heart. The moment Ningfan heard that cry, his eyes lit up with joy. Nieli had already broken out of his demon cocoon. After breaking out of his shell this time, he actually broke through to the early profound realm. With Nieli's help, his journey would probably be much safer. Ningfan nodded satisfyingly. Then he took out the jade slip of the 3 flowers at one's prominence and carefully studied it. The 3 flowers were the heaven flower, the earth flower and the human flower. The human flower was lead-colored, the earth flower was silver and the heaven flower was golden. According to the jade slip, if one cultivates the 3 flowers at one's prominence to the peak of the ancient divine ability, they would be able to endure 10,000 tribulations without perishing. This jade slip was incomplete. It only recorded the cultivation method of the first flower, the human flower. Ningfan possessed the divine blood of a king-grade divine blood. Moreover, it was an extraordinary divine blood of an ancient divine god. Thus, he was qualified to cultivate this technique. Cultivating this technique required a large amount of 1 million years old spiritual herbs. In the Eastern Heaven, one stalk of 1 million years old spiritual herbs could be sold for at least a few hundred million Tao crystals. He still had 14 stalks of 1 million years old spiritual herbs in his possession. They seemed to be enough to cultivate the lowest level of this technique. The first lead-colored lotus had a total of 12 petals. 14 stalks of 1 million years old spiritual herbs were almost enough to turn the first illusory petal into the color of lead. 7 days later, Ning Fan wore white robes while Ouyang Nuan wore green robes. The two of them arrived outside the slaughter pavilion in the Purple Fire City. "Pavilion Master, please come out and fight me," Ning Fan said loudly. At this moment, the spirit sense of countless old monsters in the entire Purple Fire City swept towards Ning Fan's location. "Are you here for the silver badge?" "Yes. If so, even if you are Pavilion Master Wu's friend, I won't show you any mercy. It doesn't matter." "All right. I will accept this battle." A silver-robed old man with blood-red eyes appeared in the sky with a flash of blood-red light. As the Pavilion Master of the Slaughter Pavilion, he had the obligation to accept the challenge of any Void Fragmentation Realm cultivator, who was below 30,000 years old. Of course, he was responsible for his own life and death. "It's the Pavilion Master of this pavilion, Chang Yuanzi. Rumor has it that he is already an expert who has half a step into the life immortal realm. I wonder if that old devil Qianqiu can defeat him. I'm afraid that old devil Qianqiu's chances of winning are very slim." You may not know this, but Chang Yuanzi has even killed a devil with a bounty of 100 million. That old devil Qianqiu only has a bounty of 30 million. I'm afraid he will lose for sure. Not necessarily. The bounty only represents the degree of hatred of the enemy. It can't accurately measure a cultivator's strength. I feel that even if old devil Qianqiu can't win, he won't lose. Perhaps they will end up in a draw. Just as everyone was discussing, the two old monsters at the life immortal realm had already arrived. They stood in the sky and looked at Ning Fan nervously. Chang Yuanzi was a man of his words. When he said that he would not show mercy to Ning Fan, he definitely would not. However, Ning Fan was a distinguished guest whom Wu Chen had told them to take good care of. If the two of them really let Ning Fan die in Chang Yuanzi's hands, Wu Chen would definitely not let them go. "Once little friend Qianqiu is in trouble, we will immediately take action." The life immortal old man and the old woman exchanged glances. Both of them were prepared to take action at any time. Chang Yuanzi's aura force became stronger and stronger. Then he suddenly said, "Make your move." "As you wish." Before Ning Fan's indifferent voice could completely spread, his figure had already appeared in the sky, 10,000 zhang away from Chang Yuanzi. Chang Yuanzi's eyes flashed with ferocious light. He waved his sleeve and countless black rays flew out of it. They looked like a type of poisonous insects. This Chang Yuanzi was actually an insect cultivator. The spiritual insects that he reared were extremely powerful. Even an early mortal profound realm life immortal realm expert would be bitten by them if they were caught off guard. Ning Fan looked at the poisonous insects that blotted out the sky. His eyes were as calm as water. All of a sudden, he raised his finger and pointed at the clouds. Illusory lotus shadows immediately filled the sky. In an instant, there were already 1 million lotus shadows. There seemed to be a massive defensive power within the lotus shadows. The 1 million lotus shadows were like a wall that blocked the insect's path. Not a single one of them could break through the barrier of the lotus shadows. Each of the illusory lotus flowers had a single petal that was the color of lead. This is the ancient divine ability, 3 flowers at one's prominence. The expressions of the two life immortal realm experts changed. This technique was extremely difficult to find, and it was said to be extremely difficult to master. Unexpectedly, Ning Fan actually found it and even mastered it. With 1 million lotus shadows in the sky, even if the two of them attacked with their full strength, it would be very difficult for them to break through the layers of lotus shadows. After all, Chang Yuanzi was not a life immortal realm expert. A ray of blood-red light suddenly flashed and Ning Fan disappeared without a trace. At the next moment, other than the two life immortal realm experts, no one could clearly see how he attacked. All they saw was Chang Yuanzi's face filled with disbelief. There was a ghastly sword wound on his chest and he fell from the sky while coughing out blood. The dignified half-step life immortal realm expert was actually defeated by Ning Fan in a single exchange. That is. The two life immortal realm experts looked at each other in horror. The moment Ning Fan attacked, his devil sense enveloped his body and turned into a blood devil. With just a single attack, he severely injured Chang Yuanzi. At that moment, Ning Fan even gave the two life immortal realm experts a feeling that he was extremely dangerous and difficult to defeat. Even though this young man has yet to become an immortal, the two of us might not necessarily be his match. The two life immortal realm experts muttered to themselves in shock. Chang Yuanzi fell heavily to the ground and looked at Ning Fan with unwillingness. In the end, he smiled bitterly. He did not show mercy. The one who showed mercy was Ning Fan. If Ning Fan wanted to, he would already be a dead man. Thank you for showing mercy, fellow Taoist. This is the silver badge of this pavilion. Take it, fellow Taoist. Chang Yuanzi struggled to his feet and took out a silver badge from his storage pouch. With a flick of his finger, he gave it to Ning Fan. When Ning Fan received the silver badge, he saw the words 875 written on it. He guessed that it was the badge number of this pavilion. The first badge was now in his hands. After keeping the badge, Ning Fan landed on the ground. He grabbed Ouyang Yuan, who was smiling sweetly, and flew away on his sword. In the end, he did not stay on this star for long. Since he had already obtained the badge of this place, he would go to the other mid-grade star regions along the way and continue to obtain more badges. His Pavilion Master Chang Yuanzi is actually no match for old devil Qianqiu. Only after Ning Fan left did countless cultivators react. They gasped in astonishment. The scene that they saw today was really too shocking. However, something even more shocking happened 1 month later. 1 month later, the Slaughter Palace issued a bounty with a sky-high price. Old devil Qianqiu had 10 billion Dao crystals on his head, regardless of life or death. In just one day, the entire eastern heaven was in an uproar. Countless cultivators wanted to know why a mere void fragmentation realm expert like Ning Fan could have a bounty of 10 billion Dao crystals. There were also countless life immortal realm experts and a few true immortal realm experts who were eager to take action. They searched everywhere for the number one fat sheep in the eastern heaven and madly inquired about its whereabouts. The fat sheep that was worth 10 billion Dao crystals. Chapter 719. Mid-grade Starfield, Woodfall Starfield. In the quiet starry sky, bounty hunters could be seen coming and going from time to time. They had the same bounty in their hands, and the news of it had spread throughout the entire eastern heaven. Suddenly, a huge starry door appeared in the starry sky. Countless bounty hunters in the vicinity immediately rushed over and surrounded the stargate. All the old monsters stared at the starry door with cold and solemn expressions. When they saw a middle-aged couple walk out of the starry door, everyone's breathing became heavy. Quick, let's see if this person is the fat sheep. Divine senses immediately swept toward the middle-aged man outside the starry door. It was a burly man in white with a face full of scars and an extremely ferocious expression. Beside the man in white stood a white-haired beautiful woman. She was not stunning, but she had a gentle appearance. In her arms was a black fur ball. Its bloodline was very dirty, and it was impossible to tell its breed. It's not Taoist Qianqiu. There's no white-haired ugly woman. There's no true blood spirit selection. There's no golden sword shadow. There's no disguise. Alright, they're not fat sheep. Let them go. After the group of people checked, they shook their heads and sighed in disappointment. Suddenly, another starry door opened in the distance. A group of old monsters immediately rushed toward the starry door and surrounded it. A skinny young man in white walked out of the starry door. As soon as the young man walked out of the starry door, he saw that he was surrounded by countless people and immediately trembled. You, what do you want? Kill. There are traces of disguise on his face. It's very likely that he's a fat sheep. I'd rather not let him go. The group of old monsters laughed sinisterly. Without saying a word, they chopped the young man in white into minced meat, leaving only his head and sealing the remnant of his primordial spirit. An old monster who was good at disguise changed his hand seal and raised his hand to wipe the head's face. Immediately, his expression became extremely ugly. I killed the wrong person. Damn it. He's not a fat sheep. Damn it, what bad luck. I've killed 17 or 18 wrong people today. Boom. Another star door opened in the distance, and a group of old monsters rushed over. The middle-aged man's gaze gradually became extremely gloomy. and the beautiful middle-aged woman beside him suddenly giggled. Her laughter was crisp and sweet, like a 16 or 17-year-old girl. Furball's father, you've harmed yet another innocent life. Ouyang Nuan, who was disguised as a beautiful middle-aged woman, laughed hysterically. Innocent? Innocent people wouldn't go out and disguise themselves. Besides, the Seven Fiends sect has placed a bounty of 10 billion on me for no reason. I'm the one who's innocent. The Seven Fiends sect is merely a force at the mid-human profound realm. Even I would consider it a lot to offer a bounty of 1 billion. How could they offer 10 billion Dao crystals? They obviously can't afford 10 billion Dao crystals. Ning Fan, who was disguised as a middle-aged man, wore an extremely cold expression. He very much wanted to know who instructed Seven Fiends sect to raise the reward to 10 billion. Spending 10 billion Dao crystals to kill a void fragmentation realm cultivator, like me. How much does this person hate me? Could it be a pill ancestor? Ouyang Nuan rubbed her forehead as her beautiful eyes turned cold. She was not as gloating as she seemed on the surface. In fact, she was very worried about Ning Fan. That was why she took out 2 peak 8th revolution disguising pills to forcefully disguise herself and Ning Fan. That's about right. Other than the alchemy faction, I can't think of any other major force that would hate me so much. I'm sorry. I have implicated you. The person that Pill sect wanted to kill was originally me. It doesn't matter. I already have an irreconcilable enmity with Pill sect. Pill sect master, right? Ning Fan patted his storage pouch and took out a geomantic compass. His eyes flashed with killing intent for a brief moment before he quietly retracted it. This compass could be used to trace the whereabouts of the Pill sect's sect master. One day, Ning Fan would have this compass and he would be able to chase the sect master of the Pill sect to the ends of the eastern heavens. Awoo. The little furball felt wronged and wanted to cry. She was so white, but her cruel father had painted her black. Did the bad father not know that even Ling Shui liked white? Daddy is bad, daddy is bad, daddy is bad, she whimpered incessantly, her voice delicate and pitiful. Actually, she was much more wrong than she was now. However, after Ning Fan fed her a trace of purplish-black demon blood, she became quiet for a few days and did not cry or make a fuss. Now she began to throw a tantrum again. Furball's father, please feed a trace of your black demon blood to little Furball. She is about to cry again. Ouyang Nuan stroked the little Furball, feeling sorry for it. She did not know what the demon blood represented. If she did, she would certainly not have encouraged Ning Fan to feed it to the little Furball. That was the ancestral blood of the Fuli clan. Even though it was just a trace of it. Little thing, did I owe you in my previous life? Ning Fan had no choice but to force out a trace of the ancestral blood of the Fuli clan, and feed it to the little Furball. The little Furball immediately felt extremely happy. It felt that it must be the happiest Ling Shui in the world. She could actually be fed with ancestral-level demon blood by her father. All of a sudden, it no longer felt the pain of being painted black. It snuggled comfortably in Ouyang Nuan's arms and began to sleep. As for Ning Fan, he released a barrier of magic power to protect Ouyang Nuan and the ugly little thing, preventing them from being hurt by the wind of the void. Are we going to challenge the slaughter pavilion of Fallenwood Star? This Fallenwood Star is a large-scale trading planet. There are quite a number of life immortal realm experts there. Ouyang Nuan said with a hint of worry. I'm going. The medicinal power of your pills is very strong. Even a true immortal of the true crossing realm would have a hard time seeing through my disguise. If I can get the silver badge of Fallenwood Star, I will have the 5th badge. Moreover, I need to purchase a large amount of 1 million years old spiritual herbs to cultivate my secret technique. You won't mind if I use your money to buy pills, right? Of course not. Ouyang Nuan smiled faintly. Let's go. I can't use the golden escaping sword anymore. It has almost become my signature. Fortunately, my cultivation base has improved tremendously. My speed is not any slower than the ancient sword. It's just that I need to use more magic power. Ning Fan naturally held Ouyang Nuan's soft waist and flew towards a low-grade cultivation planet. After borrowing the star compass from the lord of that planet, Ningfan traveled all the way to Fallenwood Star. On this planet, Ningfan slightly concealed his strength. It was as if he had gone through a tough battle before he defeated the rogue Immortal Pavilion Lord of the Slaughter Pavilion. He spent 1 billion Dao crystals on this planet to buy 4 tufts of 1 million years old spiritual herbs. Then he went to the gambling house and brought Ouyang Nuan to cut 2 tufts of 1 million years old spiritual herbs. He did not cut too many of them to avoid unnecessary trouble. Even so, after leaving Fallenwood Star, Ningfan and Ouyang Nuan were still targeted by some people. The ones who targeted Ningfan were 2 early Mortal Profound Realm Life Immortal Realm experts. They did not attack Ningfan because they had discovered his true identity. Instead, they felt that Ningfan had quite a number of Dao crystals on him. He could be considered as a little fat sheep that they could plunder. The 2 of them were extremely cautious. When Ningfan opened the star door, they did the same. After tailing Ningfan for half of the star region, they finally showed up and blocked Ningfan and Ouyang Nuan's path. On that day, the starry sky of this place was filled with bloody light. There was also an evil cry of a demonic bird that resounded across the starry sky. A few abandoned stars that were very close to the battlefield were destroyed. After that battle, there was no longer any news about the 2 life immortal realm experts in this world. Spring went and autumn came. A year had passed. Ningfan and Ouyang Nuan had already traveled across hundreds of low-grade star regions, more than 30 mid-grade star regions and 2 high-grade star regions. This year was a very dangerous one. Ningfan was extremely careful and never exposed his identity in front of others. No one knew his whereabouts. The 2nd year, the 3rd year, the 4th year. In the blink of an eye, it was the 8th year. Ningfan already had nearly 200 silver badges in his hands. He could not defeat every single one of the Slaughter Pavilion Lords. A few of them were actually at the mid-mortal profound realm, while a few of them were at the late mortal profound realm. On an abandoned star, Ningfan sat cross-legged in cultivation. After harmonizing the 1 million years old spiritual herbs, he used them to cultivate the secret technique of 3 flowers in one's prominence. For the past 8 years, Ningfan would reveal his wealth in a low-profile manner every time he went to a trading star. He would buy a few tufts of 1 million years old spiritual herbs and kill 1 or 2 early mortal profound realm life immortal realm experts to replenish his Dao crystals. He had already used up nearly 300 tufts of 1 million years old spiritual herbs in order to cultivate the secret technique. Their value exceeded 60 billion Dao crystals. After plundering and plundering along the way, he still had more than 15 billion Dao crystals on him. He was not poor. After 8 years of arduous cultivation, he only managed to form the 2nd petal of the 1st flower of the 3 flowers in one's prominence. After going through 2 more mid-grade star regions and 1 high-grade star region, he would arrive at the Blood Sea star region. Ningfan wanted to cultivate the 3rd petal of the lead flower before entering the Blood Sea star region. If he could cultivate the 3rd petal of the lead flower, his 3 flowers in one's prominence technique would be enough to defend against the attacks of mid-profound realm life immortal realm experts. If he uses this technique, almost no early profound realm expert would be able to hurt him. On the abandoned star, Ningfan opened up a temporary immortal cave and went into seclusion to cultivate. As for Ouyang Nuan, she stayed in the Yuanyao world and watched him with her 5-colored medicine soul as usual when Ningfan could not spare any attention to protect her. To a cultivator, 8 years was nothing but a fleeting time. However, she was already satisfied with it. To her, it would be difficult for her to repeat these 8 years in her life. Within these 8 years, her master had secretly come to visit her once. When he saw Ouyang Nuan's happy smile, he sighed and left on his own. Even Ningfan did not know about his arrival. Only Ouyang Nuan knew about it. Even if her master's chi was completely concealed, she could still sense it. Inside the immortal cave, Ningfan sat in meditation with his eyes tightly closed. His fingers were holding a flower. What he was holding was a lotus flower. On the lotus flower, 2 of its petals had already turned into the color of lead. The 3rd petal was slowly being dyed into the color of lead. Time ticked by. Gradually, the 3rd petal completely turned into the color of lead. When the 3rd petal appeared, the lotus flower became even heavier. After a long time, The lotus flower turned into traces of light and dispersed. Ningfan opened his eyes at the right time and exhaled a mouthful of turbid qi. With a flick of his sleeve, he summoned Ouyangwan and smiled faintly. It's done. With this divine ability in hand, my chances of getting first place in this realm's competition are even higher. At the same time, I can also solve another problem before entering the Blood Sea Star region. The problem of 10 billion Dao crystals? Ouyangwan asked with a hint of worry. Before participating in the disciple recruitment competition, I must kill enough golden devils and at least 10 billion Dao crystals. Only then can I guarantee that no assassins from the Slaughter Palace will attack me after entering the Blood Sea Star region. If others wanted to kill me, I could hide, I could evade, I could deceive them. But if he wanted to join the slaughter hall, he would most likely have to reveal his true identity. Along the way, the Void Fragmentation Realm and Life Immortal Realm devils who died in my hands have already earned a total of more than 7 billion gold coins. I just need to kill 2 or 3 more Life Immortal Realm devils, and I will be able to earn the 10 billion gold coins. After passing through 2 middle-level starfields and an upper-level starfield, we will reach the Blood Sea Starfield. Now that the grand ceremony is approaching, it will be difficult for me to protect you if anything happens. Therefore, you should stay in Yuan Yao world for the time being. Alright, but if something happens to you, I won't live alone either. Ouyangwan said bluntly. He didn't have that kind of affectionate expression, just a very normal tone. The reason why she hid in the Yuan Yao world was not because she was afraid of death. She just did not want to be a burden to him. This place was close to the Blood Sea Star region. There were just too many Life Immortal Realm and true Immortal Realm cultivators here. He was not sure if someone would recognize Ningfan's true identity and attack him to obtain the 10 billion red coins. If such a thing really happened, she would certainly be a burden to Ningfan if she stayed outside. She didn't want to hurt him. It'll be fine. Quickly enter the Yuan Yao world. Someone is coming. Ningfan's expression suddenly changed. He kept Ouyangwan and the little furball into the Yuan Yao world and rose to his feet all of a sudden. Without saying anything else, he used the Black Devil escape art to travel 10 billion li away. The reason why he could travel at such a fast speed was because there were 12 to 13 Life Immortal Realm flying lights heading straight for the abandoned star. Those 12 flying lights were as fast as Life Immortal Realm cultivators, but not all of them were Life Immortal Realm cultivators. Based on Ningfan's senses, it seemed like there were 9 real-life Immortal Realm cultivators chasing after 4 cultivators. Among the 4 cultivators who were being chased, only one of them had broken through to the Life Immortal Realm while the other 3 were rogue immortals. The 3 of them had yet to attain immortality, but their strength was already comparable to Life Immortal Realm cultivators. Their bone ages were less than 30,000 years. They were rare young experts. As for the early Profound Realm Life Immortal Realm cultivator, his bone age was only 25,000 years. His innate talent was extremely high and his strength was also above most Life Immortal Realm cultivators at the same level as him. Damn it! That person actually left us in the lurch and ran away alone. The 4 young cultivators who were being chased were 3 men and 1 woman. At this moment, the woman was cursing Ningfan in a low voice. Humph! Miss Chu's words are different. The cultivation world has always been cold and indifferent. Who cares about each other? If it wasn't because we were being chased by others in the competition, why would we join forces at the last moment? That person probably didn't know the pros and cons of the situation. That's why he ran away. If he knew that the next mid-grade star region has been completely sealed off, and any cultivators who don't hand over their ordinary badges will be chased by those people, I wonder if he would still be so cold and leave us in the lurch. Another black-robed young man who was as skinny as a ghost sneered and said, Humph! Even though that person ran away quickly, judging from his chi, he hasn't attained the Life Immortal Realm. Even if he is willing to help us and fight against the enemies together, he is just another companion who is running away. He can't help us at all. Among the 4 of them, a fat young man with big ears said disdainfully, No. That person is very strong. He seems to be cultivating a type of secret technique. That secret technique is very powerful. This person isn't simple. His bone age is very young and his cultivation base has yet to break through to the life immortal realm. The reason why he appeared in this place is probably because of the disciple recruitment competition. If this person understands our situation, he will certainly join forces with us and enter the mid-grade star region together. If this person joins us, we will most likely be able to defeat these troublesome people behind us. Among the four of them, the red-robed young man who was the leader said indifferently. With his cultivation base, he could fight against 3 people alone. The other 3 were also strong enough to fight against one of them. The red-robed young man had a premonition that Ning Fan, who had just left this place in a hurry, was not any weaker than him. It wouldn't be difficult for him to fight against 3 people alone. If this person helps us, we can temporarily fight against the 9 human profound life immortal realm experts behind us and wait for the arrival of our reinforcements. Chase. We must catch up to this person and drag him down to fight against the enemies together. The red-robed young man smiled evilly. The 4 of them chased after the direction where Ning Fan had fled. Ning Fan, who had fled 10 billion li away, sensed the 13 rays of traveling light chasing after him from afar. His eyes suddenly turned cold. He was not willing to get involved in other people's business. However, the 4 people who had just fled actually wanted to drag him into this mess. It was really a little too much. Chapter 720. Even a mid-human profound life immortal realm expert would not be able to extend his spirit sense to such a distance. Ning Fan frowned slightly. Among the 4 people being chased, the early human profound life immortal realm expert seemed to be proficient in a type of secret technique. Even though he had escaped 10 billion li away, he was still being chased by that person. However, Ning Fan could tell that the tracking range of that person was only 20 billion li away. As he thought of this, Ning Fan lifted his foot and stepped on the void space without any hesitation. Circles of black flames immediately appeared in the void space. At the next moment, Ning Fan seemed to have merged with heaven and earth. He disappeared from his original spot and escaped another 10 billion li away. After using the Black Devil escape for the first time, Ning Fan used the Black Devil escape twice in a row without uttering a single word. The distance between him and the red-robed young man was already a whole 40 billion li away. After using the Black Devil escape 4 times in a row, Ning Fan's magic power was almost depleted. The people behind him had already disappeared without a trace. The reason why the 9 life immortal realm experts were chasing after the other 4 people was none of his business. He was indifferent to who would live and who would die in this battle. If he does not want to get involved in the dispute, no one would get involved in it. Ning Fan entered the profound Yin world in a flash. He consumed a pill and began to recover his magic power at a moderate pace. He stayed in the profound Yin world for half a month. He was not in a hurry to leave as he did not want to get involved in any trouble for no reason. During this half a month, Ning Fan's mind was as calm as still water as he practiced the 3 flowers converging prominence technique. Half a month later, Ning Fan assumed that the group of people had already left. Thus, he left the profound Yin world in a flash. Then he took out the Yao Sec star plate that he had bought some time ago and rushed to the next mid-grade star region, Yao Sec star region. Just as he was about to activate the star door to continue his journey, Ning Fan stopped and kept the jade slip of the star door. He suddenly turned around and looked at the starry sky behind him with cold eyes. There, a red light flashed and 4 cultivators appeared. 3 of them were men and 1 of them was a woman. Among the 4 of them, 3 of them were rogue immortals. All of them were severely injured. Only the early mortal profound realm red-robed young man remained unscathed. This person's red robe was embroidered with the pattern of a vermilion bird. He was born with a pair of charming peach blossom eyes. At this moment, he was looking at Ning Fan with a deep smile. The red-robed young man was the only one who laughed. The other 3 looked at Ning Fan with anger, especially the rogue immortal cultivator. Her snow-white robe was stained with bloodstains. Her fair face was filled with resentment as she stared at Ning Fan disdainfully. Coward! She uttered these 2 words with hatred. Naturally, she was reprimanding Ning Fan for not saving her half a month ago. If it wasn't for Ning Fan leaving them in the lurch, that battle wouldn't have been so difficult. She had used up all of the trump cards given to her by the elders of her clan. The others had also used up all of their trump cards to barely preserve their lives and repel the enemy. Initially, he had planned to use those trump cards during the competition of Slaughter Hall. But now he had already used all of them before he even arrived at Bloodsea Starfield. Ning Fan acted as if he did not hear the disdainful voice of the lady. He was not interested in this lady at all. His gaze swept across the three loose immortals, and finally landed on the red-robed youth. Ning Fan's expression became more and more solemn. This red-robed young man is not simple. His cultivation base is already close to breaking through to the mid-human profound realm. Is this person also here to participate in the disciple recruitment ceremony of the Slaughter Hall? Will he be my opponent in the future? Everyone, why are you waiting for me here? What can I do for you? Ning Fan's voice was rough and hoarse. At this moment he was still disguised as the burly man with a scar on his face. His bone age was also disguised as 20,000 years old. Humph. The reason why we are waiting for you here is naturally to denounce you. I was in trouble and asked for your help. How dare you leave me in the lurch? The white-robed lady said arrogantly. The other two rogue immortals also looked at Ning Fan with hostility. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. He did not know this group of people at all. What obligation did he have to help them? Denounce me? How ridiculous. Ning Fan's killing intent was already triggered when he took a step forward. These people had bad intentions and wanted to involve him in a dispute. Now they even came to find trouble with him. He did not mind teaching them a lesson. With just a single step, Ning Fan's body emitted a sky-high baleful qi. The terrifying red light of baleful qi was exceptionally dazzling in the dim starry sky. Under the red light, Ning Fan's face looked ferocious, like a fiend. Under this oppressive aura, the expressions of the white-robed lady and the other two rogue immortals changed greatly. They hurriedly retreated behind the red-robed young man to seek protection. The three of them did not expect that once Ning Fan unleashed his power, he would be like an ancient god of slaughter. Even outstanding figures like them would feel terrified. The might of Ning Fan's baleful qi was too terrifying. He had killed at least 10 life immortal realm experts. The white-robed lady was used to being arrogant. She had never seen a devil lord like Ning Fan who would kill anyone just because of a disagreement. At this moment, when she met Ning Fan's cold and emotionless eyes, she was so scared that her legs turned to jelly. Brother Qizhen, save me. The white-robed lady hid behind the red-robed young man. Her voice was slightly trembling as she pleaded for help. The red-robed young man, whose name was Qizhen, did not even look at the white-robed lady or the other two rogue immortals. He was just looking at Ning Fan with a smile. The three of them were just joking just now. I hope fellow Taoists won't mind them. The reason why they stayed here wasn't because of their original intention. They also didn't want to criticize fellow Taoist. The one who wanted to stay here is me. I'm Qizhen of the Demon Ruler sect. I want to be friends with fellow Taoist. Qizhen cupped his fists at Ning Fan. Even though there was a smile in his eyes, it did not reach the bottom of his eyes. There were 5 red stars on his glabella. The 5th star suddenly shone with a red light, and the shadow of a ferocious vermilion bird appeared behind Qizhen. At the same time, a wave of devil might which was not any weaker than Ning Fan's burst out of his body and clashed with Ning Fan's baleful qi. Ning Fan's eyes flashed. Instead of retreating, he advanced and took 9 consecutive steps. The 9 steps formed momentum and merged with the heavenly momentum. The might of Ning Fan's baleful qi actually increased by more than 10%. Qizhen's expression changed slightly when he heard a loud explosion. He suddenly flicked his sleeves and brought the 3 people behind him to retreat 10,000 zhang away. His expression revealed a hint of surprise. After a round of collision, the might of his baleful qi was actually slightly weaker than Ning Fan's. The shadow of the vermilion bird shattered into pieces. Ning Fan also retreated several thousand zhang backwards. Suddenly, he steadied his footsteps and stared at Qizhen with a solemn expression. This man is not simple. If we fight to the death, Ning Fan reckoned that his chances of winning against Qizhen would not exceed 50%. Moreover, the prerequisite for that was to summon Nieli to help him. Qizhen of the Demon Ruler sect. 8 years had passed. Ningfan was no longer completely clueless about the Eastern Heaven immortal world. The demon ruler sect was a great true immortal realm force in the Eastern Heaven. The cultivators in the sect were good at commanding demon pets to assist them in battles. The Fu Li ancestral blood in his body would send out a faint signal from time to time, reminding Ningfan that Qi Zhen had more than one powerful demon pet with him. If Ningfan's senses were not wrong, Qi Zhen had 3 early human profound realm demon pets with him. Moreover, all of them were true spirit vermilion birds. Fellow Taoist has such a strong baleful qi. What a mysterious ability. I wonder if fellow Taoist is interested in traveling with us to the Blood Sea Star region? Qi Zhen did not gain the upper hand in this contest of baleful qi. However, the smile in his eyes did not diminish. Instead, he invited Ningfan to go with him. I'm not interested. Ningfan pondered inwardly. With Qi Zhen around, it would probably be extremely difficult for him to kill the other 3 rogue immortals. After all, it was not a must to kill them. There was no need for him to fight Qi Zhen to the death in this place just to kill a few unrelated people. After uttering those cold words, Ningfan turned around and left. After getting rid of Qi Zhen and the others, he changed his star gate and hurried on his way to the Yao Sec star region. A long time after Ningfan had left, the white-robed lady finally recovered from her fright and said angrily in the direction where Ningfan had left, "Humph! This man really doesn't know how to appreciate favors. Brother Qi Zhen is the dignified Dao child of the demon ruler sect. He befriended him and invited him to the Blood Sea Star region. However, he actually put on such airs and rejected Brother Qi Zhen's good intentions. Does he really think that he can enter the Yao Sec star region without paying any price with his strength alone?" The white-robed lady's name was Chu Yan. She was the daughter of the leader of the Chu clan of the Eastern Heaven, the Yao clan of the Yao Sec star region. This Yao clan is not to be trifled with. The forces behind us are also not weak, especially Brother Qi Zhen, who has the dignified demon ruler sect as his backer. That Yao clan is just a force at the life immortal realm, but they dared to chase after us and seal off the entire Yao Sec star region. If it wasn't because of the Slaughter Palace, how would they dare to do that? The black-robed young man who was as skinny as a ghost snorted coldly. His name was Heiqiu. He was the first disciple of the Witch Curse sect's sect master. In the battle half a month ago, if it wasn't for Brother Qi Zhen fighting against 6 life immortal realm cultivators alone, we certainly wouldn't have been able to escape unscathed from the 9 life immortal realm cultivators of the Yao clan. I, Zhu Hong, will remember this kindness and I will definitely repay it in the future. However, there's one thing that I'm very worried about. Why haven't the other 7 fellow Taoists who went with us to the Yao Sec star region come to our aid? Could it be that they have already? The chubby young man said with a frown. His name was Zhu Hong, and he was a member of the Zhu clan of the Eastern Heaven. Humph! I'm afraid those 7 fellow Taoists have already died in the hands of the cultivators of the Yao clan. Naturally, they won't be able to help us. This time, in order to let Yao Li win the first place in the grand competition and join the Slaughter Palace, the Yao clan has really resorted to all means possible. He Gu snorted coldly, his anger evident on his face. Chu Yan and Zhu Hong spoke one after another, accusing the Yao family of their crimes. Qi Zhen, however, did not say a single word and did not interrupt. He looked at the direction where Ningfan had left. For the first time, the playful smile in his peach blossom eyes disappeared, and was replaced with a solemn expression. At most, I have a 50% chance of winning. Even with my full strength and the 3 true spirit vermilion birds, I don't have the confidence to defeat this kid. What's the background of this kid? When did such a heavenly genius expert appear in Eastern Heaven? With my strength, it isn't hard for me to barge into the Yao Sec star field, but I will definitely offend the Yao family afterwards. I'm not afraid of the Yao clan, but the person behind the Yao clan is the dignified elder Qing Yin of the Slaughter Palace. It's not my wish to offend this person. According to the rules of the Yao clan, if one wants to enter the Yao Sec star field, he must hand over half of his badges. I wonder if this person will hand over half of his badges or barge into the Yao Sec star field. Ningfan sped all the way to Yao Sec star region. When he discovered that the entire Yao-Sec star field was sealed by layers of domain-locking arrays, he could not help but frown. That domain-locking grand formation was extremely powerful. Only true immortals could pass through it by force. The domain-locking grand formation had a total of 10 formation entrances. All of them could enter the Yao-Sec star field. Today, 9 of the formation entrances were tightly shut. There was only one formation entrance that could be used to pass through. Countless experts of the Yao family were standing guard at the entrance of the array. A gigantic blood-red stele was erected outside the formation entrance. Anyone who carries the slaughter badge and passes through this stele would be detected by it. Hiding the badge in a storage pouch, heavenly dwelling treasure or small Kiliacosm cosmos treasure would not be able to hide from the stele's detection. The stele could accurately sense the number of badges a person has on him. Ning Fan was not in a hurry to pass through the formation entrance and enter the Yao-Sec star field. Instead, he first gathered information in the vicinity. After understanding the ins and outs of the Yao-Sec star field being sealed, Ning Fan remained silent for a long time. He finally understood why Qi Zhen and the others were being hunted by the 9 life immortal realm experts. The biggest force in the Yao-Sec star field was the Yao clan. The Yao clan had sealed the entire Yao-Sec star field. Any cultivator who carries the slaughter badge and passes through this place would have to hand over half of their badges before they could pass through. The badges were points and results. The points that they could add were not only suitable for the first stage of the disciple recruitment ceremony, but also for the few stages after that. The reason why the Yao clan went through so much trouble to seize the badges of others was just to ensure that the disciples of their clan could secure the first place in the grand competition. Among the cultivators of the current generation of the Yao clan, Yaoli was undoubtedly the one with the strongest aptitude. His bone age was 20,000. He had already successfully broken through the life-breaking realm and became an immortal. Moreover, he was about to break through to the mid-human profound realm. In order to ensure that Yaoli would secure the first place, the Yao clan did not hesitate to offend countless forces to help him seize the badges and obtain points. In order to achieve this goal, the Yao clan even dared to attack the juniors of true immortal realm forces. The old ancestor of the Yao clan was just an early ghost profound realm old monster. However, one of the ancestors of the Yao clan had won the first place in the grand competition and joined the slaughter palace as a cultivator from the outside world. Then, he gradually became an elder of the slaughter palace. His name was Yao Qingyan. His cultivation base was at the Void Renunciation realm. With this person supporting the Yao clan also dared to openly offend a major force like the Demon Steward sect. Qi Zhen and the others were being hunted by the life immortal realm experts of the Yao clan because they refused to hand over the badges. No wonder that arrogant woman felt that I should lend them a hand. As it turns out, I'm in the same situation as them. Our common enemy is the Yao clan. The Yao clan, huh? I really don't want to offend them. Ning Fan let out a long sigh. If he was alone, it did not matter who he offended. Now, however, he needed the slaughter palace's help. He wanted to ask for the longevity jade to prolong Ouyangnuan's life. If he offends the Yao clan and Yao Qingyun at this critical moment, it would really be a little unwise. In the history of the slaughter palace, there had only been 24 elders. Fu Linglong's position had been vacant for a long time. Now there were 23 elders left. After Sha Di, the ones with the greatest authority in the slaughter palace were the 23 elders. One should know that each of the elders of the slaughter palace had the authority to mobilize 100 true immortals. Offending the Yao clan was equivalent to offending 100 true immortals of the slaughter palace. I won't hand over the badges. I don't want to offend the Yao clan either. There might be a way that satisfies both sides. For example, in the starry sky, Ning Fan's eyes flashed with determination. He kept all 194 badges into his profound Yin world. That blood-red giant steel could sense the existence of the badges through the small Kiliacosm cosmos treasure, but it could not pass through the medium Kiliacosm cosmos treasure. After all, a medium immortal cosmos treasure was usually only owned by immortal emperors. How could an outsider search the entire cosmos of an immortal emperor? After keeping the badges, Ning Fan slightly altered his bone age, making it look like he was 40,000 years old. By doing so, he wanted to confuse the Yao clan and dispel their wariness. Since the Yao clan dared to snatch the badges of the cultivators participating in the competition and hunt down those who refused to hand over the badges, they naturally also dared to assassinate the cultivators participating in the competition. The bone age of the cultivators participating in the competition must be below 30,000 years old. Ning Fan's method was also to be careful and dispel the hostility of the Yao clan. The biggest problem was actually the 10 billion bounty. Yao Sek's star region was a mid-grade star region. There were no true immortals in the first place. However, now that the grand competition was around the corner, many true immortals would pass by this star region. I wonder if there will be true immortal old monsters who will discover my true identity and attack me. Ning Fan sighed. He could not avoid the inevitable calamity. It was just a matter of time before his identity would be exposed. There were countless true immortals in the Blood Sea Star region. It was too difficult to not expose his identity. After clearing all of his distracting thoughts, Ning Fan flew at full speed towards the formation door of the Yao Sect Star region Grand Formation. It was a formation door that was 1 million zhang tall. There were more than 100 rogue immortals and 12 life immortals guarding the door. A giant blood-red steel stood at the entrance of the formation door. Every time a cultivator with a badge of slaughter passed by the formation, the blood steel would flash with different degrees of bloodlight. The amount of bloodlight was related to the number and type of the badge. Once a cultivator was found to be carrying a badge of slaughter, he would either hand over half of the badges or be killed by the cultivators of the Yao clan. On top of the blood steel, there was a short tower of human skulls which were dripping with blood. Those human skulls were the heads of the participating cultivators who refused to hand over their badges. The way the Yao clan handled things was really overbearing. However, due to their strong backing, even the forces of the victims did not dare to hold them accountable. Ning Fan frowned. He did not say anything and walked into the formation door. As expected, when he passed by the blood steel, it did not react at all. How could a mere blood steel sense what was hidden in the profound Yin world? Among the 12 life immortals of the Yao clan, 11 of them did not bother to pay attention to Ning Fan anymore when they saw that his bone age was 40,000. Only an old late human profound realm life immortal realm woman kept staring at Ning Fan. The evil light in her eyes became brighter and brighter. Ning Fan's eyes were as calm as an ancient well, but he had a bad premonition in his heart. He quietly walked into the formation door without anyone stopping him. After passing through the formation door, he officially entered the Yao Sect Star region. Before he could even heave a sigh of relief, the old life immortal realm woman who had been staring at him suddenly appeared in front of him and blocked his way. "You can't leave. Tonight, I want you to serve me in bed." The old life immortal realm woman revealed her white teeth and sneered at Ning Fan. Seeing that the old life immortal realm woman was interested in Ning Fan, the other 11 life immortal realm experts locked their spirit sense on him. The person with the highest cultivation base here was the late human profound realm old woman. Since she wanted Ning Fan to be her cauldron, the other life immortal realm experts would naturally take him down in order to please her. Serving him in bed might sound nice, but plucking him was the real deal. This old woman loved ugly and strong men the most, just like Ning Fan's appearance after he disguised himself. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with a cold light and he sneered. He had avoided countless reasons to offend the Yao family. However, he had never thought that he would have to offend the Yao family because of this reason. How could he, Ning Fan, become someone's cauldron and let them pluck him? Offending Yao Qingyan might be scary, but if he was plucked by the old woman, his cultivation base would fall, and he would lose his life. How could he save Ouyang Nuan? Qi Ning Fan did not say anything else. Circles of black fire rippled under his feet, and he escaped 10 billion li away. Just like that, he escaped from the 12 life immortal realm experts of the Yao family. No matter how strong Ning Fan was, he did not have the strength to fight against 12 life immortal realm experts. However, it was impossible for him to submit to the Yao family's power. "Humph! It's your honor that I like you. How dare you run away? All of you stay here. I will go and take him down alone. He's just a void fragmentation realm cauldron." Yes. The old Life Immortal Realm woman's face turned pale. She gave an order to the other Life Immortal Realm experts. Then, she stepped on the void space and a black cloud appeared under her feet. She then stepped on the black cloud and chased after Ningfan. If she manages to capture Ningfan this time, she would not be able to live up to her title of Sun-Sucking Fairy when she was young if she does not torture him to death. Chapter 721. Ningfan used the Black Devil escape art and fled 10 billion li away. Then, without hesitation, he used the Black Devil escape art again. After increasing the distance between him and the old woman to 20 billion li, Ningfan directly took out 100 Star Door Jade Slips and crushed them at the same time. The teleportation directions of the 100 Stargate Jade Slips were all different. He would only enter one of them. If he escaped from one of them, the old woman at the Life Immortal Realm wouldn't be able to find out which starry door he used. Ningfan punched his chest and spurted out a few mouthfuls of blood essence. Then, he forcefully accelerated the opening of the star door. Now that he had damaged the star door, and there was a distance of 20 billion li between them, even if the old lady could catch up to him, it would be enough for him to activate the star door and escape. He did not continue to use the Black Demon escape, because he wanted to preserve half of his magical power to deal with the unknown. He did not enter the Profound Een world, because he had learned his lesson from the last time. Qizhen was proficient in tracking techniques. Even though Ningfan had hidden himself in the Profound Een world, he could still vaguely sense where Ningfan had entered. After waiting patiently outside for half a month, Ningfan finally came out. This Life Immortal Realm old woman might not necessarily not be proficient in tracking techniques. If Ningfan enters the Profound Een world and she waits for him outside for 3 years, it would be a huge problem. A Life Immortal at the peak of the human Profound Realm. Ningfan's face was so cold that it could freeze people to death. He had disguised his bone age, his physique, and his dignified appearance. He had disguised himself as an ugly man with poor aptitude. But there were still people who wanted to capture him as a human cauldron. Was that Life Immortal old woman blind? There were so many handsome young men, but she didn't want him, a rough man. Perhaps, that old woman likes your current physique and appearance. I remember that there is a sun-sucking fairy, in the Yao family of Yao Sex Starfield. She loves to capture ugly men, and use them as cauldrons. It is said that when she plucked an ugly man, she would feel a special sense of humiliation and satisfaction. In the Yuan Yao world, the gentle voice of a lady that was mixed with the power of her medicine soul was transmitted into Ningfan's sea of consciousness. So that's how it is. If I knew this old woman liked ugly men, I would have disguised myself better. Ningfan let out a long sigh. With a wave of his hand, he took out several formation discs and cast them towards the distant starry sky. Each of the formation discs turned into layers of formation light, protecting Ningfan within them. Counting carefully, there were more than 100 layers of array lights protecting this place. Even though Ningfan was certain that it was impossible for the old lady to catch up to him in such a short time, he still needed to set up some formation lights to delay her in order to ensure that he had enough time to open the Stargate. Rumble. Time ticked by. Stargate after Stargate appeared in the void with a loud rumble. At the moment when the Stargates were opened one after another, Ningfan stepped into one of them without saying a word and flew 500 billion li away, heading straight to the other end of the Yao Sex star region. About 10 breaths after Ningfan left this place, the Life Immortal old lady chased after him on a black cloud. Looking at the more than 100 layers of formation lights, the old woman revealed a look of disdain. She raised her hand and took out a blood-red pearl, shooting it towards the layers of formation lights. Among the 100 or so layers of formation lights, there was no lack of immortal formation lights. However, that blood-colored pearl was the old woman's life magic treasure. How powerful was it? With a single strike, the layers of formation light were all shattered. Little sweetheart, you have nowhere to run, right? Aren't you going to come out and have some fun with me? The old woman's voice was hoarse and unpleasant to the ears. With an ugly smile on her face, she flicked her sleeves and destroyed all the scattered formation lights. From her point of view, since she destroyed all of Ningfan's formation lights, He certainly had no way to escape. However, before she could finish her words, the smile on her old face had already frozen. After the formation lights were destroyed, what appeared was not Ning Fan, who had nowhere to run, but a total of 100 stargates that were gradually disappearing. All of a sudden, the old woman's face turned pale. She was actually a step too late. Ning Fan had actually forcefully opened the stargate and escaped. The stargate had yet to disperse. Ning Fan had not gone far. If he hasn't gone far, I can still catch up to him. The problem now was, which stargate did Ning Fan use and which direction did he escape to? The 100 stargates all opened in different directions. If she chased after him in the wrong direction, she would definitely let Ning Fan escape. Interesting. Interesting. Are you playing hide and seek with me? Good. Very good. This time, you have really made me angry. If I catch you, I will surely bite off that thing of yours bit by bit. I will have a good taste of it. The old woman addressed Ning Fan as her sister. She did not feel that it was disgusting for her to say such words. Immortal technique, insect mimicry technique. The old woman bit her finger. Red blood flowed out and turned into black blood. The black blood then turned into thousands of black flying insects. She changed her hand seal, and the black insects immediately flew in a certain direction. The old woman was overjoyed. After finding out the direction Ning Fan was in, she knew which stargate he had gone to. Fortunately, when Ning Fan just passed through the formation gate, she had left a trace of a special scent on his body without anyone noticing. That scent could not be detected by humans or beasts. Only the flying insects imitated by the insect mimicry technique could detect it. The old woman did not expect these flying insects to catch up to Ning Fan. She only needed to determine the direction Ning Fan was in, and she would have a way to catch up to him. She patted her storage pouch and took out a jade slip of the stargate. Without saying anything, she crushed the jade slip. After a long time, the stargate opened. The old woman's cultivation base was higher than Ning Fan's. The speed at which she opened the stargate was actually faster than Ning Fan, who damaged himself to open the stargate. On a certain abandoned star, Ning Fan crossed 500 billion li and appeared. As soon as he landed on the ground, he hurriedly opened the next stargate. Ning Fan did not have the confidence to defeat the old woman, who was at the peak mortal profound realm. Even if she was a woman and Ning Fan's yin-yang transformation could completely subdue women, the difference between their cultivation bases was too huge. Ning Fan did not have the confidence to win. He would remember the grudge of the Yao clan. However, he knew that with his current cultivation base, it would be difficult for him to take revenge on the Yao clan for the time being. The only thing he could do now was to escape first. Time passed slowly. Half of the stargate had already been opened. All of a sudden, Ning Fan's heart was filled with warning signs. Without saying anything else, he immediately gave up on opening the stargate and used the Black Devil escape technique to escape. Just as he left, a massive stargate suddenly appeared on the abandoned star behind him. The old woman at the life immortal realm took a step out from the stargate. She raised her hand and took out an immortal treasure rope to tie Ning Fan up. Unfortunately, she was still one step too late and Ning Fan still managed to escape. Humph! You sure run fast. Your escape technique is indeed very powerful. Unfortunately, your cultivation base is still too low. You can't use this technique for more than a few more times. The old woman let out a cold snort. She stepped on a black cloud and chased after Ning Fan. The old woman quickly closed the distance of 10 billion li. Sensing that the escaping light behind him was getting closer and closer, Ning Fan's eyes flashed with killing intent. His magic power was only enough for him to use the Black Devil escape technique once. It was meaningless to continue running. Even if he escaped into the profound Yin world, he would not be able to truly escape from the tribulation. It would take him at least one day and one night to set up the chaotic ancient formation marks. After all, the grade of the formation marks was too high. If he were to fight head-on, his chances of winning would be too slim. Then he would have to play dirty. That old woman captured him just to pluck his energy, right? Ning Fan retracted his escaping light and no longer tried to escape. His eyes swept across a nearby abandoned star. Then he left in a flash and opened up a temporary cave abode on a barren mountain. He took out many decorations and sat on the bed with a cold smile, waiting for the old woman's arrival. Ningfan, why aren't you running anymore? Could it be that you want to? Ouyang anxious voice resounded in his mind. I can't escape anymore. If that's the case, why don't I stop running and save some magic power for a counterattack? No matter what happens later, don't look at it, lest it dirties your eyes. Ningfan did not explain too much, but it did not prevent Ouyang from understanding what he meant. That sucking sun fairy is old, ugly and dirty. So don't look at it. At this moment, Ningfan's eyes were extremely cold. It was as if he had returned to the time when he was humiliated by the evil woman countless years ago, and was powerless to resist. He would not hurt his loved ones or kill any human cauldrons. However, it did not mean that he would not kill women. Very soon, the old woman arrived at the abandoned star. When she saw that Ningfan not only stopped running but also opened up a cave abode on the star and waited for her, she could not help but narrow her eyes and let out a cold snort. You're not running anymore? Do you want to kill me on the bed when I'm distracted? What a ruthless brat. However, I like it. I won't give you the chance to kill me. The black cloud retracted. The old woman landed outside the cave abode and walked towards Ningfan step by step. Ningfan had been resting with his eyes closed. When the old woman approached him, he suddenly raised his hand. A ray of black golden sword light shot out from his palm and pierced the old woman's dantian. All of a sudden, the old woman's expression changed greatly. She was so frightened that cold sweat broke out all over her body. Dao weapon. That Dao weapon was extremely sharp. It pierced her dantian. If it pierced her dantian and destroyed her primordial spirit, she would still die no matter how high her cultivation base was. Fortunately, she reacted quickly. With a flick of her finger, she flicked the small black golden sword away. After all, it was a Dao weapon that had never been refined before. Its power was too weak. If it was a Dao weapon that had been refined, she would not be able to send it flying with a flick of her finger. After the small black golden sword missed, Ningfan did not say anything else. An illusory vortex appeared under his feet, and he disappeared in an instant. At the same time, an illusory vortex appeared behind the old woman. Ningfan directly appeared behind her without any warning. With a flick of his sleeve, the small black golden sword that was deflected away shattered and condensed. It then directly appeared in his palm. The Dao weapon could be summoned back to his hand at any time. The sword directly slashed at the old woman's back. Killing intent rose in the old woman's eyes. Now that she was prepared, even if Ningfan launched a sneak attack, he would not be able to touch her finger. After all, her cultivation base was far beyond Ningfan's. The small black golden sword could not even touch her body. This was the reason why Ningfan did not use the Yin plucking finger and the Yin imprisoning rope. The gap between their cultivation bases was too huge. Ningfan could not touch the life immortal realm old woman at all. Humph! The old woman snorted coldly. Her body immediately turned into countless black insect shadows and disappeared. Ningfan's sword slashed the air. In the next moment, the insect shadows wrapped around Ningfan. An invisible force directly threw Ningfan to the bed. The insect shadows condensed and the old woman's body appeared again. She pointed her finger at Ningfan's body. It was the finger force of a peak human profound realm expert. With just a finger, Ningfan was severely injured and on the verge of death. He was secretly using the Black Star technique to heal his injuries. This was something that he had been hiding from the old woman. Now you can't move anymore, right? Now, you should obediently let me ravage you. The old woman revealed her white teeth and gave him a cruel smile. I don't mind telling you. I have never been merciful when I pluck human cauldrons. My hobby is to play with human cauldrons until they die. She took off her clothes, revealing her extremely ugly body. The old woman licked her lips and pressed down on Ningfan's body, beginning to peel off his clothes. In the Yuanyao world, Ouyang bit her lips with her pearly white teeth. How could she bear the fact that the person she loved was humiliated by an ugly old woman? Ningfan closed his eyes to hide his painful expression. That pain was not the pain he felt now. Instead, It was the pain he felt when he recalled the all-pleasure sect in the past. Today he was already a cold-blooded and heartless devil. He would not feel pain because of such things. When he opened his eyes, a fierce light flashed across his eyes. At this moment, the old woman was completely defenseless. One of her fingers was the plucking finger while the other hand was the imprisoning rope. Both techniques were used at the same time. An extreme sense of danger suddenly rose in the old woman's heart. At this moment, she was still peeling off Ning Fan's clothes excitedly, thinking about how to have fun after stripping him naked. She did not expect that Ning Fan, who had been crippled by her finger, could still move, and even counterattack. Of course, she did not know how powerful Ning Fan's Black Star technique was. Even though his injuries were severe, it did not mean that he could not move. She also did not know that Ning Fan possessed the chaotic ancient emperor treasure, and was the strongest cultivator of the yin-yang transformation in the world. As a woman, she must remember not to get close to Ning Fan. Otherwise, she would have to bear the consequences. After sensing the danger, the old woman subconsciously wanted to escape, but it was already too late. Hundreds and thousands of finger shadows touched the old woman's body. Strands of imprisoning rope tied the old woman up like a dumpling. The plucking power and imprisoning power rushed into the old woman's body crazily. For a moment, she could not mobilize her magic power. What kind of bewitching technique is this? It's actually so powerful. A mere void fragmentation realm ant can actually subdue me with this bewitching technique. The old woman wanted to move, but she had no strength to do so. Knowing that she had fallen into Ning Fan's trap, the old woman glared at him with hatred. She swore that once she breaks this damned bewitching technique, she would directly cut him into 8 pieces to vent the hatred in her heart. Break! The old woman made up her mind and destroyed half of her primordial spirit, temporarily restoring her magic power to the mid-human profound realm. In an instant, she broke free from the imprisoning rope. The plucking power in her body was still in a mess. She temporarily could not force it out, otherwise she could at least temporarily restore her late human profound realm cultivation. Die! A black star flashed on the old woman's glabella. Her ugly head suddenly turned into a huge black insect head and bit towards Ning Fan. Evil intent flashed in Ning Fan's eyes. A black golden sword light slashed into his body, disintegrating his physical body and turning him into a blood devil. The old woman was slowly turning into an insect while Ning Fan instantly turned into a devil. With a flash of blood light, Ning Fan had disappeared while the old woman's insect head was cut off and flew high up in the sky. After her head was cut off, the old woman's body immediately dissipated into countless insect shadows. The insect shadows condensed outside the cave and turned into a 600,000 zhang tall black giant. That giant had an insect head and a human body. Junior, who are you? I am a cultivator of the Yao clan. How dare you recklessly kill me? Even if you are lucky enough to escape today, the Yao clan will never let you go. There will no longer be a place for you in this Eastern Heaven immortal world. The insect giant roared furiously. Who do you think your Yao clan is to be able to make me lose my foothold in the Eastern Heaven? Ning Fan, who had transformed into a blood devil, took a step forward. The entire abandoned star rumbled and crumbled in the starry sky. If it was possible, he did not want to become enemies with the Yao clan. However, the other party had provoked him and wanted to take his life. Could he escape? Could he endure it? Could he yield? Could he avoid it? No. The mid-human profound realm old woman was no longer scary. How dare you humiliate my Yao clan? Good. Very good. The insect giant performed a hand seal with all 10 of his fingers. Immediately, black insect shadows that blotted out the sky and covered the entire starry sky. Insect God Dao, insect summoning technique. Chapter 722. Insect Cultivator. The blood chi around Ning Fan's body seemed to be burning. All of a sudden, he raised his hand and pointed his finger. A streak of blood-red light shot out of his finger, instantly transforming into billions of blood-red sword lights. The sword light slashed through the dense swarm of insects. Countless flying insects were cut into 2, but they did not die. Instead, they split into two, becoming two flying insects. The more he killed, the more insects there were. The bug-headed giant sneered in disdain. My bug technique is least afraid of sword cultivators. Immortal art, black net. The giant changed his hand seal, and the swarm of insects that kept proliferating rushed toward Ning Fan, drowning him within the sea of insects. The bodies of these black insects were not hard, but their teeth were terrifyingly sharp. Even though Ning Fan had already attained the third transformation of Corpse Devil Realm, and the defense of his physical body was almost comparable to a peak Nirvana Realm body cultivator, he still could not defend against the sharp teeth of the black insects. If there were no accidents, this boundless swarm of insects would only need a breath's time to devour Ning Fan, until not even his skin and bones remained. This scene reminded Ning Fan of a man-eating ant swallowing an elephant. Bang! With a muffled sound, Ning Fan's physical body disintegrated into a mist of blood and vanished. At the next moment, Ning Fan's physical body reformed in a faraway place amidst rays of black starlight. With this, he temporarily avoided the swarm's attack. When they saw Ning Fan trying to escape, the swarm of insects seemed to have gone mad. They swarmed towards Ning Fan again. You're not afraid of sword cultivators, but I wonder if you're afraid of fire cultivators. Burn! Ning Fan opened his mouth and breathed out raging black flames. In an instant, this small piece of starry sky was completely engulfed by the black flames. Countless flying insects flew into the black flames, and were easily incinerated into ashes. This time, the swarm of flying insects could no longer multiply. Immortal fire. Humph. I didn't expect you to have such a technique. It seems like ordinary insect techniques are useless against you. Immortal technique, insect dragon. The insect-headed giant changed its hand seal, and countless dark red flying insects appeared around it. These flying insects didn't seem to be afraid of fire. They suddenly flew towards the insect giant, and attached themselves to its body. Crimson light flashed, and the insect-headed giant transformed into a crimson dragon that was over 60,000 feet in length. However, the wyvern had the head of an insect and looked extremely strange. Immortal technique, blood decay. The scarlet dragon insect opened its mouth and breathed out rays of red light. As soon as the red light shot out, it immediately turned into red mist that blotted out the sky and covered Ning Fan. Within the red mist, Ning Fan's body began to melt into a puddle of blood. Even the black star art could not completely resist the melting process. It could only slow down the melting process. If the life immortal old lady was at her peak, she could instantly kill a late-stage human Xian with her blood decay technique. Currently, the old lady's cultivation base had fallen to the mid-human profound realm, due to Ning Fan's sneak attack. The destructive power of this technique had also been greatly reduced. Now it could only kill an early human profound realm expert. However, in the old woman's opinion, this technique was more than enough to kill Ning Fan, who had yet to become an immortal. A mid-human profound realm cultivator is hard to defeat, even if she's a woman. Ning Fan's expression became even calmer, as if it was not his body that had melted into blood. His calmness made the old woman feel uneasy. All of a sudden, Ning Fan lifted his finger and pointed at it. Immediately, an illusory lotus shadow appeared beneath his feet. 12 blossoms, 3 of them lead. The moment the lotus appeared, it suddenly multiplied from 1 to 1 million. In a split second, there were already 1 million lotus shadows protecting Ning Fan. Although the blood decay red mist was strong, it could no longer hurt Ning Fan. Ancient divine ability, 3 flowers converging prominence. You actually managed to cultivate this technique. Could it be that you have a king-grade divine blood? According to the ancient legends, the 3 flowers converging prominence would be indestructible for 10,000 tribulations. Even though Ning Fan had only cultivated the first flower to the realm of blooming 3 petals, it was already enough to defend against an ordinary mid-human profound realm attack. The current power of this blood decay technique was not strong enough to break the lotus shadow's defense. As the lotus light flickered, the blood mist technique was forcefully dispersed. Next, it's my turn to counterattack. Ning Fan suddenly shook his cauldron ring. Light shone beneath his feet, and a peacock with purple eyes and black feathers appeared. His whole body was covered in bloody light, and he stood on the head of the peacock. That peacock was none other than Zili, who had broken through to the early human profound realm. Zili's divine ability was shocking. She was almost invincible among those who were at the same level as her. She could even put up a fight against a mid-human profound realm expert. With Zili's help, Ning Fan had killed more than 10 early human profound realm experts along the way. What kind of demonic bird is this? Such a strong aura. Such an evil chi. The crimson insect dragon's eyes widened in surprise. At the next moment, Ning Fan was already riding on Nieli and dashing towards it. Nieli opened its mouth and breathed out rays of purplish-black light. When the light dispersed, it turned into wind blades that blotted out the sky and covered the earth, slashing at the crimson insect dragon's gigantic body. The dark red flying insects that were attached to the insect dragon immediately turned purplish-black in color. They were either cut into pieces or killed by the wind blades. After advancing to the second step of the profound realm, Zili's divine ability had greatly improved. She could now use the ominous power of the Fuli clan to poison others. Layers of insect armor were peeled off and rays of purplish-black wind blades shot out from the insect dragon's body. The poison was flowing rapidly inside the insect dragon's body, causing it to panic. Even though the purple-eyed ferocious bird in front of her was only at the early human profound realm, its strength was already comparable to some mid-human profound realm experts. She had already been hit by Ning Fan's plucking finger. Now that the poison had invaded her body, her chi became even more chaotic and her cultivation base showed signs of falling once again. This is bad. If my cultivation base falls again and falls below the mid-human profound realm, I will certainly die here. This young man is a madman. He clearly knows that I'm a member of the Yao clan, but he still dared to attack me. Is he really not afraid of death? If I knew that I would be plotted against by this young man and be forced into such a difficult situation, I definitely wouldn't attack him just for a moment of desire. Forget it. Let's escape from this place first. When I return to the clan, I will bring a group of experts to hunt this young man down. The crimson insect dragon's eyes flashed with determination. Its gigantic body swayed, and it actually fled without putting up a fight. If they continue fighting, it would be too disadvantageous for her. Her cultivation base was already about to fall again. Once it falls below the early human profound realm, she would no longer have the strength to fight against Ning Fan and Nieli. Trying to escape? Ning Fan's eyes flashed with killing intent. He mobilized the last portion of his magic power, and used it to summon the steel of sun and moon to display his divine ability. The shadow of the steel above his head flashed. Then it turned into traces of flames and fell into Ning Fan's palm. Ning Fan held the steel fire in his hand. Along the way, he had displayed the second spiritual steel technique many times. Compared to the first time he displayed it, it was much more perfect. At the moment when Ning Fan held the steel fire in his hand, the crimson insect dragon sensed danger. Ning Fan raised his hand and summoned the steel fire. All of a sudden, a gigantic mountain made of flames appeared in the starry sky. At a terrifying speed, it went straight towards the crimson insect dragon. Not good. In an instant, the old woman at the life immortal realm withdrew from her insect dragon form. She suddenly patted her storage pouch and took out a black talisman. She then placed it on her body. Unfortunately, before the talisman light could be activated, the gigantic mountain had already arrived above her head. Under the impact of the talisman light, the old woman's brain burst out. Her physical body turned into a pile of mud, and her primordial spirit was also severely injured. Her primordial spirit rolled up her storage pouch and tried to flee in a panic. However, her movement light suddenly became stagnant, and she was frozen in the void. Traces of bloodlines entangled her tightly. With her current weakened state, she actually could not get rid of them within a short period of time. At the next moment, her tiny primordial spirit was sucked into an ice-cold devil palm. It was Ning Fan's devil palm. For the first time, a look of extreme shock appeared in her eyes. As a powerful being in the Eastern Heaven, how could she not recognize this technique? As Heaven Sealing Technique. The Eastern Heaven Ancestral Emperor's Heaven Sealing Technique. How did you do it? How did you do it? This is impossible. This is absolutely impossible. No one in the entire Eastern Heaven can learn this technique. Of course, Ning Fan would not answer her questions. After searching his soul and memories mercilessly, Ning Fan swallowed his primordial spirit in one gulp and refined his remnant soul. All of a sudden, the power of his baleful qi skyrocketed to a new realm. Along the way, Ning Fan had killed more than 10 life immortals. However, he had never killed a mid-human profound realm cultivator, nor a peak human profound realm cultivator. This old woman was a peak human profound realm cultivator. The mountain of Yin fire slowly disappeared. Ning Fan flicked his sleeve and summoned the remains of the old woman at the life immortal realm. He refined it into a ball of flesh essence using his devil flame, and fed it to Zili. Although consuming the flesh essence of a peak human profound realm life immortal would not allow Zili to break through to the mid-human profound realm in one go, her cultivation base would still improve greatly. Screech, Zili let out a soft cry obediently, as if she was grateful to Ning Fan for feeding her a decent meal. Ning Fan squatted down and stroked Zili's black feathers. Then he scanned the old woman's storage pouch with his spirit sense. 3 billion Dao crystals. 3 bottles of 8th Revolution pills. All of them were pills that could increase one's cultivation base and restore one's magic power. There were no pills that could increase one's cultivation base. Ning Fan was not surprised that there were no pills that could increase one's cultivation base. After one's cultivation base reached the second step, there were very few pills that could increase one's cultivation base. Most of the life immortal realm cultivators relied on bitter cultivation, enlightenment, incense and Dao fruits and heavenly ingredients to increase their cultivation base. Even in the pill sect and medicine sect, there were only 1 or 2 types of pill recipes that could help life immortal realm cultivators to increase their cultivation base. The medicinal ingredients needed to concoct these pills were extremely hard to find. Even in the pill sect and medicine sect, there were not many of such pills left. Without looking at those healing pills, Ning Fan's spirit sense finally fell on a black jade slip. He took out the jade slip from his storage pouch and scanned it with his spirit sense. His eyes narrowed slightly and he murmured, 5 stars divine cultivation technique, Gu insect scripture. This scripture was the cultivation technique that the old woman at the life immortal realm cultivated. The offensive abilities recorded in this scripture might not be very strong, but its tracking abilities were quite powerful. Cultivating this scripture could also increase one's poison attack and poison resistance. One could even use poison to mimic insects and poison people. If I have the time, I can learn a little about this scripture. Ning Fan kept the Gu insect scripture and fell into silence. The old woman at the life immortal realm had already died in his hands. Given her identity as a life immortal realm old woman, the Yao clan probably had some means to find out who the murderer was. Since Ning Fan had killed her, the Yao clan probably already knew that he was the murderer. Since Ning Fan had offended the Yao clan in the end, it was unwise for him to stay in the Yao clan star region for a long time. He did not have the intention to provoke the Yao clan in the first place. It was the Yao clan who wanted to take his life, and he had no other choice but to resist. With the Yao clan's domineering style, they would never ask about the reason behind this matter. They would only be determined to kill Ning Fan. If Ning Fan had enough strength, he would not hesitate to kill his way to the Yao clan and punish them for their crimes. Unfortunately, his cultivation base was too weak. Of course, he still had a corner of the formation mark of Great Emperor Ancient Chaos. As long as he activates this formation mark, the Yao clan would certainly be annihilated. However, what awaited him next would Yao Qingyun, who was at the void-shedding realm, personally hunt him down. Ning Fan, let's not go to the slaughter palace. Let's leave quickly. We need to leave the Yao sect star region and go to the medicine sect. Master is there. He will definitely be able to protect you. Ouyang worried voice resounded in the Yuan Yao world. Ning Fan secretly clenched his fists. If he leaves the Yao sect star region out of fear of the Yao clan, he might be able to keep his life. However, Ouyang would certainly die. If it was just to repay a debt of gratitude, Ning Fan would not risk his life to go to the slaughter palace. There were many ways to repay a debt of gratitude. He could use other methods to repay Ouyang. Today, however, Ouyang was no longer just a debt of gratitude to him. After 8 years of companionship, some feelings had already been imperceptibly embedded in his heart. He did not want her to die. He wanted her to live for more than 10,000 years and enjoy all the beauty of this world. Let's go to the slaughter palace. Ningfan's eyes flashed with determination. He swore that he would not turn back on this journey. If the Yao clan tries to stop him, he would slaughter them. If a true immortal intercepts him, even if he takes out the chaotic ancient formation marks and perishes together with them, he would still be severely injured. The longer they stay on this journey, the more dangerous it would be. He had to reach the Blood Sea Star region in the shortest time possible. During the disciple recruitment competition, the Blood Sea Star region forbade anyone from attacking the participating cultivators. Only the participating cultivators were allowed to kill each other. As long as he reaches the Blood Sea Star region, he would be able to avoid the pursuit of Life Immortal Realm and true Immortal Realm cultivators. Ningfan took out a handful of 8th Revolution pills and swallowed them in one go. Among them were pills that could restore magic power and healing pills. After consuming too many pills in one go, Ningfan's immortal veins were in extreme pain. The medicinal power of the pills flowed wildly within his body. There was no time for him to restore his magic power. The pursuit of the Yao clan would probably arrive soon. He took out the jade slip of the star door and crushed it. Then he hammered his chest and spurted out a few mouthfuls of blood essence to forcefully increase the speed of opening the star door. Each time he opened a star door, his face would become much paler. Even the blood recovery pills and the black star technique would not be able to replenish the blood essence that he was losing crazily. One after another, the star doors opened at an extremely fast speed. Ningfan crossed the starry sky again and again, damaging himself every time. Ouyang quietly watched his actions. Suddenly, she felt a chill on the back of her hand. Only then did she realize that her face was already covered with tears. How could she not feel Ningfan's determination to save her no matter what? No one could stop him. No one could stop him. Even she was powerless to stop him. All she could do was to silently accept all the good things that Ningfan did to her. She could only watch as he damaged himself again and again without being able to help him. In the main hall of the Yao clan, Yao Zongxing. The clan lord of the Yao clan, Yao Kong, stared at the groups of cultivators of the Yao clan below the main hall, with eyes filled with rage. He clenched his fists tightly and his body was trembling uncontrollably because of his rage. Who can tell me why Elder Ling died? She has a cultivation base of the peak human profound realm. Why would she die? Yao Kong's hair was white, and he wore a blood-red robe. His appearance was extraordinary and dignified. It was not that he did not know who the murderer was. It was just that he could not understand how Qianqiu, who was known as the fat sheep of the eastern sky, had the strength to kill Yao Ling, an elder of the Yao clan who had the title of Sun-Sucking Fairy. On the life wall of the Yao clan, a bloody illusory figure slowly appeared. That figure was exactly the same as Ningfan's appearance when he did not disguise himself. In the current eastern sky, which Void Fragmentation Realm, or Life Immortal Realm would not recognize him. Who would not recognize the number 1 fat sheep of the eastern sky? Clan Lord, we saw with our own eyes that Elder Yao Ling was chasing after a Void Fragmentation Realm burly man. However, we don't know why she died in the hands of that Qianqiu, a Life Immortal Realm cultivator who was originally guarding the formation door, said with fear and trepidation. Idiot! Don't you understand? The Void Fragmentation Realm Junior that Yao Ling went to chase after is Qianqiu. I just don't understand how a mere Qianqiu could kill Yao Ling, who was at the peak human profound realm. Why? Yao Kong clenched his fists tightly. He did not feel any pain towards Yao Ling's death. All he felt was anger. What he was angry about was that someone actually dared to challenge the dignity of the Yao clan. Pass down my order. From now on, only people are allowed to enter my Yao clan star region. No one is allowed to leave. If we don't kill that Qianqiu, no cultivator below the Life Immortal Realm is allowed to leave Yao Kong star region. Immediately mobilize all the experts above the Void Fragmentation Realm in our clan. We must kill that Qianqiu in Yao clan star region. How dare he provoke the tiger's whiskers of our Yao clan? He must die. In addition, send the news to all the nearby star regions. Just tell them that Qianqiu is in our Yao clan star region. Those who want to kill him and claim the reward must come to this star region immediately. We will kill the sheep and claim the reward. Even though Yao Kong was extremely furious, he still retained some of his rationality. Even though he did not understand how Ning Fan could kill a peak human profound realm expert, he was already a little fearful of him. He was just at the early ghost profound realm, which was just one level higher than the peak human profound realm. He would not let the Yao clan take the risk to deal with Ning Fan alone. He wanted countless life immortal realm cultivators, and even true immortal realm cultivators to gather in Yao clan star region and attack him together. He wanted to slaughter Ning Fan like a dog. Chapter 723. To cross the Yao Sex star region, he would need to open the stargate for about 500 to 600 times. In just 2 hours, Ning Fan had already crossed the stargate 17 times. With the help of the pills, he had recovered 1/3 of his magic power. If it wasn't because forcefully opening the stargate required a large amount of magic power, Ning Fan's magic power would have been fully restored after consuming so many high-grade pills. In the boundless starry sky, a gigantic stargate suddenly opened. Ning Fan took a step out of it. Just as he was about to open the stargate and head to the next location, his eyes suddenly turned grim, and he said coldly, "The people of the Yao clan are really fast." At the moment when the stargate appeared, 7 void fragmentation realm cultivators were already rushing towards this place at full speed. All of them were cultivators of the Yao clan. The main force of the life immortals of the Yao clan had yet to arrive from their clan, but the order to hunt down Ning Fan had already been sent to the entire Yao Sex star region. At this moment, Ning Fan had already disguised himself as a middle-aged scholar. However, those void fragmentation realm cultivators of the Yao clan immediately called out Ning Fan's true identity. "He is old devil Qianqiu. Kill him." Each of the 7 void fragmentation realm cultivators was holding a blood-red compass in their hands. That compass was a special item of the Yao clan. Anyone who kills a member of the Yao clan would be recognized by the compass no matter what kind of disguise they use. Disguise was no longer meaningful. Does the Yao clan already know my true identity? Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. He grabbed forward with his large hand and the physical bodies of the 7 void fragmentation realm cultivators immediately disintegrated. 6 of them turned into blood mist and died. Only one of them had his primordial spirit left. Ning Fan took his primordial spirit and searched his soul and memory. After searching his soul, Ning Fan swallowed that person's primordial spirit. His eyes were extremely cold. These 7 void fragmentation realm cultivators were only at the first and second void fragmentation realm. They were no match for Ning Fan at all. However, this made Ning Fan's expression become even more solemn. Even cultivators at the first and second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm were sent to hunt him down. It seemed that the Yao clan was determined to kill him. From this person's memory, Ning Fan found out that the Yao clan had already found out his true identity, and they had sent all the void fragmentation realm cultivators and above to hunt him down. Moreover, the Yao clan had even sealed off the entire Yao Sex star region. Cultivators below the life immortal realm were only allowed to enter, but were not allowed to leave. They even sent out messages to the nearby star regions, summoning all experts to hunt him down, and collect their rewards. The Yao clan was going to exterminate him. Ning Fan's eyes became even colder, but he did not say anything. He just quietly kept the storage pouches of the 7 people. Then he took out the jade slip of the star door and damaged his own blood essence to open the next star door. Cross. From the start of the massacre, he would be surrounded and attacked by a group of Yao family cultivators almost every time he crossed. At first, those cultivators were only in pieces, but gradually, there were many itinerant immortal cultivators. Ning Fan did not have the intention to get entangled with these people. As soon as he exits the star door and discovers his enemies, he would surely kill them with lightning speed. He didn't give these cultivators a chance to send messages, but the Yao clan had already seen through his path of killing Yao clan cultivators. That brat Qianqia wants to leave the Yao Sec star zone and go to the Skywata star zone. An early-stage human profound realm life immortal was leading 9 loose immortals. It was an old man in a yellow robe. He held an astrolabe in his hand, and his gaze shifted as he sneered. Judging from the direction this kid is flying in, he'll definitely pass through this area. We'll go there to kill him. The yellow-robed old man held the astrolabe and flew all the way until he reached a certain star zone. Only then did he stop. Standing in the starry sky with his hands clasped behind his back, the yellow-robed old man's face was filled with confidence. He could kill Ningfan and offer his contribution to the clan leader. Moreover, he could use Ningfan's head to exchange for 10 billion bounty rewards. He naturally knew that Ningfan had killed Elder Yaoling, who was at the peak human profound realm. However, he did not believe that Ningfan could kill her with his own strength. No void fragmentation realm expert could kill a peak human profound realm expert. This was an indisputable fact. From his point of view, Yaoling was probably lustful and lost her guard. That was why she was killed by Ningfan on her bed. Even though that Yaoling's cultivation base is high, she is too lustful. It's not surprising that she died in the hands of a junior. I have a secret technique. Even a mid-human profound realm expert wouldn't need to be afraid of me. He's just a void fragmentation realm kid. I can kill him like slaughtering a dog. The yellow-robed old man's confidence came from a source. He had a soul pouch on his waist. That soul pouch was specially used to store the primordial spirit of cultivators. His name was Yao Honglei. The word boom in his name had a great background. He had a secret technique called the God Blasting Technique. This technique used the primordial spirit of other cultivators as a medium to throw the captured primordial spirit like a bomb. His soul pouch contained more than 1,000 void fragmentation realm primordial spirits. If he uses all of them, even a mid-human profound realm expert would have to dodge its attack. How could a mere Ningfan withstand his spirit blast technique? The eyes of the 9 life immortal realm experts behind Yao Honglei were filled with admiration and respect. They were the juniors of the yellow-robed old man. Naturally, they knew how powerful and brutal their old ancestor was. Rumble. Rumbling sounds suddenly resounded in the starry sky not far away, and a star door was slowly appearing. A trace of void fragmentation realm chi was vaguely coming out from that star door. Yao Honglei sneered and led the 9 rogue immortal juniors to surround the star door. Currently, the news of Ningfan being hunted down had spread throughout the entire Yao Sec star region. The person who still dared to open a star door at this critical moment was either an old monster at the life immortal realm or Ningfan. Since there was a void fragmentation realm chi coming out from the star door, there was no doubt that it was Ningfan. Which of the other void fragmentation realm experts would dare to go out during this troubled time? Currently, the entire Yao Sec star region was a battlefield to kill Ningfan. As expected, when the star door opened, a young man in white robes with a cold expression walked out from it. It was none other than Ningfan, who did not disguise himself. He no longer needed to disguise himself. Since his identity had already been exposed, there was no need for him to hide anymore. All he needed to do was to fight his way out. Get into formation and kill him. Yao Honglei's eyes flashed with killing intent. As soon as he gave the order, the 9 rogue immortals behind him immediately raised the treasured seals in their hands. Each of the 9 treasured seals had different colors. The 9 colored treasured seals soared into the sky and turned into 9 rays of rainbow light, aiming at Ningfan's head. Humph! Ningfan snorted coldly. His eyes flashed with ferocious light, and the baleful chi around him soared to the sky. After killing Yaoling, his baleful chi had reached a new peak. As soon as the baleful chi flashed, the 9 rogue immortals felt a sharp pain in their chests. Their bodies were being devoured by the baleful chi and their Dao hearts were being invaded. Their chi became chaotic and none of the 9 treasured seals could land on them. That baleful chi swept towards Yao Honglei. Yao Honglei's expression changed. He quickly flicked his sleeve and took half a step backwards, blocking Ningfan's baleful chi. However, his heart was in a mess. In the end, he was slightly intimidated by Ningfan's baleful chi. Ningfan's baleful chi was too strong. It was definitely not something that could be obtained just by killing Yaoling. Even if he did not kill Yao Ling, Ning Fan's baleful qi was not something that Yao Honglei could withstand easily. Before killing Elder Yao Ling, this young man had already killed more than 10 life immortal realm cultivators. Yao Honglei was greatly shocked. If Ning Fan killed Yao Ling because she was careless, how would he explain the deaths of the other 10 life immortal realm cultivators? He immediately realized that he must not underestimate Ning Fan. Even though this young man had yet to become an immortal, his abilities were definitely not simple. Formed the 10-killing formation. After all, Yao Honglei was an old monster who had experienced killing for a long time. Since he could kill more than 1,000 void fragmentation realm cultivators and seize their primordial spirits, how could he be lacking in killing? He forced himself to calm down and gave a cold order. The 9 rogue immortal juniors beside him immediately endured the pain in their Dao hearts, and each of them took out a formation plate from their storage pouches. Each of their formation plates had different colors. Yao Honglei also took out a formation plate. There was a total of 10 colors. Even an ordinary early mortal profound realm cultivator would find it hard to withstand the formation of 10 people. All of a sudden, 10 layers of formation light surrounded Ning Fan. Countless rays of 10-colored rainbow light engulfed Ning Fan. Those rays of 10-colored rainbow light were the ability to kill cultivators with poison. Army disintegration. A cold and stern voice suddenly resounded from within the 10 layers of formation light. At the next moment, a towering blood-red light shot out from the formation light, turning into countless blood-red sword lights which shattered all 10 layers of formation light. Then, Ning Fan, who was surrounded by blood-red light, stepped on the shattered formation light and walked towards Yao Honglei and the others. After killing Yao Ling, Ning Fan's baleful qi skyrocketed. He could control his devil sense more freely. His body had turned into a blood devil, but his eyes were cold and frighteningly clear. They were not corroded by the devil sense at all. He took a step forward and disappeared without a trace. Everyone, including Yao Honglei, felt an extreme sense of danger. 10 rays of blood-red light flashed by so fast that no one could see them clearly. The physical bodies of the 9 rogue immortals had already turned into mists of blood. One of them died. Yao Honglei, on the other hand, was drenched in cold sweat. He gritted his teeth and took out 1,000 void fragmentation realm primordial spirits from his storage pouch. Then he threw them towards the incoming rays of blood-red light and formed a hand seal. God blasting. All of a sudden, 1,000 void fragmentation realm primordial spirits exploded at the same time. The shockwaves from the explosion were comparable to the self-detonation of 1,000 void fragmentation realm experts. The layers of self-detonation waves were comparable to the full-force attack of a mid-mortal profound realm expert. I don't believe that I can't blast you to death with this. Yao Honglei suppressed the panic in his heart and laughed heartily towards the sky. However, at the next moment, the smile on his face stiffened and turned into an expression of disbelief. Among the layers of void fragmentation realm self-detonation, millions of lead-colored lotus shadows suddenly rose. Ning Fan's body was covered in blood-red light. He stood among the layers of lotus shadows and remained unscathed despite the self-detonation of 1,000 void fragmentation realm experts. 3 flowers converged crown. You have the king-grade divine blood. You actually managed to cultivate this technique. Yao Honglei's eyes were filled with fear. Even his strongest attack could not break through Ning Fan's defense of the 3 flowers converged crown. Now that the 1,000 void fragmentation realm primordial spirits had been used up, he could no longer display an attack of this level. As for the other attacks, they could not hurt Ning Fan at all. He could not hurt Ning Fan, but Ning Fan could easily hurt him. That blood-red sword light was too terrifying. Yao Honglei knew that he could not completely defend himself against it. He was unwilling to admit it, but he had no choice but to admit that he was actually not Ning Fan's match. Damn it. I'll leave first while this kid is busy dealing with the god blasting technique. I'll wait for reinforcements before killing him. Yao Honglei was terrified. He turned around and ran. The waves of void fragmentation realm self-detonation gradually dissipated. Ning Fan kept the lotus shadows that filled the sky and stared at the direction where Yao Honglei had fled. The corners of his lips curved into a cold smile. In just a short period of time, Yao Honglei had probably fled 7 to 8 billion li away. Unfortunately, he still could not escape. After casually keeping the storage pouches of the 9 rogue immortals, Ning Fan took a step in the void sky. Circles of black flames immediately appeared under his feet like ripples of water. At the next moment, his figure vanished in a flash. He had traveled 10 billion li away and appeared in front of Yao Honglei, who was fleeing in panic. As soon as he caught up to Yao Honglei, Ning Fan disintegrated his body into countless blood-red sword light without saying a word, drowning Yao Honglei within the sea of sword light and blood. Yao Honglei could not believe that a void fragmentation realm expert could actually be so fast. Ning Fan had caught up to him in just a blink of an eye. He wanted to flee, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not escape from the sea of blood sword light that Ning Fan created. After a long time, a miserable shriek resounded in the air. Yao Honglei was finally defeated by the weapon disintegration style. The Black Star technique suppressed his injuries while the ferocious might of his baleful chi suppressed his devil sense. The weapon disintegration style that Ning Fan displayed at this moment was already different from what everyone else in this world had displayed. The people of the world only thought that the weapon disintegration style was a type of ability that allowed one to exchange their life for death. However, Ning Fan had developed this ability into another type of ability. The essence of this technique was still to find a way to live after putting oneself in a hopeless situation. However, Ning Fan would neither die nor be invaded by the devil sense when he used this technique. After dispersing the blood sea sword light, Ning Fan returned to his white-robed body. In his hand was a primordial spirit which had a weak chi. It was none other than Yao Honglei's primordial spirit. Without hesitation, he searched Yao Honglei's soul and memory. After that, he did not destroy Yao Honglei's primordial spirit like what he did in the past. Instead, his eyes flashed and he sealed Yao Honglei's primordial spirit, which had turned into an idiot, and kept it into his soul pouch. That soul bag was naturally seized from Yao Honglei. After tying the soul pouch and the sword pouch together, he took out a blood-red jade slip from Yao Honglei's storage pouch and scanned it with his spirit sense. Then he nodded in satisfaction. God Blast technique. I have already memorized the finger technique of this technique. This technique will be of great use to me. Ning Fan suddenly turned around and looked at the direction where he came from. With this technique, he didn't plan on escaping the Yao sect starfield for now. Since the Yao family had already spread his true identity, sooner or later, there would be countless cultivators above the mystic realm who would come here to kill him and get the reward. 10 billion Dao crystals were enough to move the hearts of some true crossing realm old monsters. Even if he managed to escape from the Yao sect starfield, there was no guarantee that he wouldn't be intercepted by a perfected immortal on his way to the Blood Sea starfield. Since he would be intercepted and killed by the true crossing realm old monsters sooner or later, there was no need for Ning Fan to escape. He was not going to run anymore. Now that he had acquired the Spirit Blast art, he was going to use it to awe true immortals. He wanted to capture enough life immortal Yuanshen as materials for the God Blast art. The primordial spirit of a life immortal was not as powerful as a void fragmentation realm primordial spirit. According to the records of the Deity Blast technique, if one had 108 life immortal primordial spirits, it would be enough to form the Deity Blast array and kill a true immortal of the transcending truth realm. If he could capture enough primordial spirits of life immortals, he would have a trump card that even true immortals would be wary of. Along the way to the Blood Sea Star region, he reckoned that no true immortals would dare to attack him. Unfortunately, given his current strength, it would be extremely difficult for him to capture 108 life immortal realm experts alive. Fortunately, Ning Fan still had a corner of the formation mark of Great Emperor Ancient Chaos. It would take a lot of time to set up the formation mark. However, once the formation mark is activated, it could instantly kill all cultivators below the true immortal realm within the formation. The Yao family wants to kill me and the people of the world also want to kill me for the reward. So I will give you a chance to kill me. Ning Fan waved his hand and took out the star compass of the Yao sect star region. Then he changed his direction and flew towards a relatively large abandoned star. He wanted to set up a corner of Great Emperor Ancient Chaos formation marked there to teach the Yao family a painful lesson. Since both parties were already at each other's throats, There was no need for him to show mercy anymore. If a massacre is inevitable, he would just kill to his heart's content in this Yao Sec star region. Ningfan, my cultivation base in the Tao of formations is not bad. Let me help you set up the formation. If you get attacked while you are setting up the formation, you will die. On the abandoned star, when Ningfan took out a corner of the formation mark and was about to set up the formation, Ouyang Nuan's voice resounded from the Yuan Yao world. When she saw the corner of the formation mark, she could not conceal the surprise on her face at all. She remembered that this formation mark was the finale item of the auction in the Shaozi star. It was said to have been taken away by an ancient immortal venerate. She did not expect that the person who took away the formation mark was actually Ningfan. She did not ask how Ningfan actually took away the formation mark. When she saw the corner of the formation mark, the intelligent Ouyang Nuan had already guessed all of Ningfan's intentions. Using the formation mark of a great emperor to kill countless life immortals, and using the divine blast technique to scare away true immortals, he was going to kill his way into the Blood Sea Star region. Even if he has to fight the Yao family to the death, he would never turn back. Ouyang Nuan knew that she could not shake Ningfan's determination. He would never give up on her and let her die. She was touched, but she also blamed herself. Therefore, she wanted to help him. Even if it was just to help him set up the formation, it was still better than standing helplessly at the side and watching Ningfan bear the endless pursuit alone. Can I help you set up the formation? Ouyang Nuan asked carefully. She was afraid that Ningfan would reject her. All right. Ningfan summoned Ouyang Nuan from the Yuan Yao world. Now that the situation was dangerous, it was not the time to be pretentious. It was good to have Ouyang Nuan's help. Without Ouyang Nuan's help, Ningfan would set up the formation on his own and leave Zili to fight the enemies. With Ouyang Nuan's help, Ningfan could free his hands and fight the enemies together with Zili. Currently, no true immortals had come to the Yao Sec star region. It was a blessing in disguise. Ouyang Nuan took the chaotic ancient formation marks and started setting up the formation on the abandoned planet. As for Ningfan, he set up a concealing immortal formation that could isolate heaven's secrets and spirit sense at the periphery of the abandoned planet, to prevent the cultivators of the Yao clan from catching up to this place too quickly. Groups of void fragmentation realm cultivators who were patrolling passed by this place, but they did not notice anything unusual on this planet. They could not see through the mysteries of the concealing immortal formation. They could not see that Ouyang Nuan was setting up the formation on the abandoned planet. They could not see that Ningfan was staring at them coldly through the formation light. As soon as their expressions change, it meant that they had discovered the abnormality of this planet. Then Ningfan would kill them without hesitation. Time passed bit by bit. Half a day later, an early profound human realm blood armor life immortal realm passed by this place. He glanced at the abandoned planet, and his brows twitched slightly. However, he cleverly concealed his expression. He could already tell that Ningfan was most likely hiding on this planet. He had already heard that Yao Honglei had gone missing, and all of his subordinates were dead. If he was not mistaken, Yao Honglei had been captured alive by Ningfan. The blood armor life immortal could not imagine how strong Ningfan was to be able to capture an early human profound life immortal alive. He no longer dared to underestimate Ningfan. Even if he found out that Ningfan was hiding on this star, he would not show any strange expression to avoid being killed by Ningfan. A cultivator who could capture a life immortal alive was not someone he could match. He wanted to temporarily leave this place, and then send a message to the clan to mobilize people to besiege this star. Unfortunately, even though he concealed his expression well, Ningfan still saw through it. I've still been discovered. If I don't kill this person, my whereabouts will be exposed. If I kill this person, my whereabouts will still be exposed. Since there's no difference, how can I let this person go? Ningfan rode the gigantic purple-eyed peacock and flew out of the concealment formation light. The moment he appeared, the blood-armored life immortal's expression changed drastically. Without saying a word, he wanted to abandon the void fragmentation realm subordinates behind him and escape by himself. Unfortunately, he could not escape. Chapter 724. Zili, bring this person's primordial spirit back. Under Ningfan's command, Zili immediately turned into a terrifying demonic wind and chased after the fleeing blood-armored life immortal. The blood armor life immortal's strength was ordinary. He wasn't Zili's opponent. Ningfan remained outside the abandoned planet. He took a step forward and transformed into his black robes in an instant. Then his body dispersed like ink, turning into countless black butterflies that filled the sky. The blood armor life immortal brought a total of 12 void fragmentation realm experts with him. 4 of them were rogue immortals. Unfortunately, none of them was a life immortal realm expert. None of them could resist Ningfan's Black Tempest soul-splitting technique. In an instant, all 12 of them were annihilated by the ink butterflies that covered the sky, and only their extremely weak soul cores remained. After all, these people were void fragmentation realm experts. Their primordial spirits were also useful to a certain extent. Ningfan captured the primordial spirits of the 12 void fragmentation realm experts and kept them inside his soul pouch after sealing them. Naturally, all of their storage pouches were taken away by Ningfan. Not long after, Zili returned with the half-dead primordial spirit of the blood-armored life immortal and his storage bag in her mouth. After searching the immortal's soul and memories, he sealed his primordial spirit and kept it in his soul pouch. Taking a look at the other party's storage pouch, Zhang Xian was unable to find anything useful in it. Thus, he casually put the storage pouch away. Ningfan's eyes were extremely solemn. He knew that after capturing this life immortal, the Yao family would certainly know his location. Every cultivator of the Yao clan was patrolling a different star region. Since the blood-armored life immortal went missing in the place he was patrolling, the cultivators of the Yao clan knew that it was Ningfan's doing. Thus, all of them would rush to that place. Looking back at the abandoned star, Ancient Chaos Heavenly Emperor's formation patterns were already 2/3 complete. Ouyangwan's face was slightly pale. Laying down the Ancient Chaos Heavenly Monarch's formation patterns had taken a huge toll on her heart energy. Ningfan's eyes softened. Was he going to live and die together with this woman whom he had been with for 15 years? It had been 15 years since they had met on the Shaozi planet. As if she felt Ningfan's gaze, Ouyangwan lifted her head and wiped off the sweat on her forehead. Then she gave Ningfan a sweet smile. It was still that bright and beautiful smile, so bright and dazzling. She was laughing from the bottom of her heart. Perhaps, after this battle, Ningfan's devil name would shock the world. Perhaps she would die together with Ningfan on this abandoned planet. No matter what the result was, she would not regret it. These 10 years were too short for a cultivator, but they were the happiest years of her life. Don't be afraid. After this battle, I will take you to the Blood Sea Star Zone. I think even the true immortals of the Crossing Truth realm will not dare to stop us. Yes, I'm not afraid. I trust you. At this moment, a large number of life immortals of the Yao family were guarding the array gate leading to the Tianshui galaxy. A total of 31 life immortals were stationed here. The patriarch of the Yao family, Yao Kong, was also guarding this place. Yao Kong could already tell that Ningfan was in a hurry to get to the Blood Sea Star region. He would certainly go to the Heavenly Water Star region through this door. He was waiting for Ningfan to walk right into his trap. There were many life immortals in the Yao clan, but most of them were at the early stage of the human profound realm. With the protection of the Slaughter Hall's elder Qing Yun, if a cultivator of the Yao family ascended to immortality, they could head to the Slaughter Hall and be baptized in the blood pool of the Slaughter Hall. Those who had been baptized in the blood pool had a 50% higher chance of becoming an immortal than those who had not been baptized. Do not underestimate this 5% chance. With this 5% chance, there were many cultivators of the Yao family who had become immortals. Unfortunately, the cultivators of the family were too disappointing. None of them could break through to the true immortal realm. It was a waste of Elder Qing Yun's support. Patriarch Elder Honglei has gone missing. A life immortal hurried to the array gate and conveyed the news to Yao Kong. What? Yao Honglei has gone missing. Humph. I'm afraid he didn't go missing. Instead, he was captured by that child, Qianqiu. That useless trash. He's the first person in the history of our Yao family to obtain the recognition of our ancestor, and be bestowed with the spirit blasting technique. Since Yao Honglei has gone missing, go to his residence in the family, and bring me his spirit blasting technique. If the elders have any objections, just tell them that I'm just temporarily keeping the secret technique for him. When he returns, I'll return it to him. Yao Kong sneered. Not only was he not angry about Yao Honglei's capture, but he was also taking pleasure in his misfortune. Who asked Yao Honglei to be the only person in the history of the Yao family to obtain the recognition of their ancestor. The name of the ancestor of the Yao family was Yao Hongshan. The spirit blasting technique that he created was extremely powerful. However, because it was too ruthless, it was never passed down to his descendants. However, if the descendants of the Yao family were fated with the ancestor, they would have the chance to obtain this technique when they enter the ancestral temple to worship the ancestor's statue. For millions of years, no one in the Yao family had obtained this technique. Yao Honglei was the only one who obtained it. Countless cultivators of the Yao family were envious of him. Due to the teachings of the ancestors, none of the cultivators of the Yao family dared to seize Yao Honglei's technique. Since Yao Honglei was captured, Yao Kong was naturally worried that Ning Fan would search his soul and memories to obtain the technique. However, after giving it some thought, he realized that the finger seals obtained from the search were not complete. Even if Ning Fan searched Yao Honglei's memories, he would not be able to obtain the spirit blasting technique. Now that Yao Honglei was captured, the first thing Yao Kong wanted to do was not to rescue him, but to seize the opportunity to seize his secret technique. Since Yao Honglei was captured, it was reasonable for him to temporarily keep the secret technique for Yao Honglei as the clan leader. Even the elders of the clan had no reason to criticize him. About that. Reporting to the clan leader, there has been news from the clan saying that the jade slip of the spirit blasting technique is not in Elder Honglei's residence. What? Yao Kong was instantly enraged. In his anger, someone actually went to Yao Honglei's residence one step ahead of him in order to obtain the jade slip of the secret technique. Since the jade slip of the two wrath technique was not in Yao Honglei's residence, where could it be? Could it be that Yao Honglei has lost his mind? Why would he carry such an important jade slip around with him? No, it can't be. Even though that Yao Honglei's innate potential was low and unworthy of cultivation, he was not a fool. Why would he carry such an important secret technique with him? The elders of the clan have interrogated Yao Honglei's concubines. According to them, Elder Honglei always carries the jade slip of the secret technique with him at all times. It's because he's afraid that someone would covet the jade slip when he's not around. Fool. Fool. What a fool. How could he carry such an important secret technique jade slip with him at all times? Now that Yao Honglei has been captured by Qian Qiu, that means the jade slip has fallen into his hands. All of a sudden, Yao Kong's eyes were filled with killing intent. The jade slip of the secret technique that he had spent so much effort to obtain was actually presented to Ning Fan by Yao Honglei. Good. Very good. Now he had another reason to kill Ning Fan no matter what. Investigate. Investigate now. I want to know where Qian Qiu is right now. I can't wait any longer. I want to kill this brat now and take back the secret technique jade slip of my ancestor. Yao Kong was infuriated. He immediately sent someone to investigate Ning Fan's whereabouts. Not long after, he received the news. Elder Shuesun had gone missing. The 12 void fragmentation realm cultivators who went with him had all gone missing. Elder Shuesun's name was Yao Shuesun. He was the blood armor life immortal realm cultivator, whom Ning Fan had captured previously. Another missing person? Not dead yet. Alright, I got it. Yao Kong clenched his fists so hard that his knuckles cracked. Ning Fan had captured the cultivators of the Yao clan, but he did not kill them. Most likely he had kept their primordial spirits, and was planning to use the spirit blasting technique. The spirit blasting technique required the primordial spirit of a cultivator to be used as a medium. The power of this technique depended on the number of primordial spirits of the cultivators who were the medium. Ning Fan wanted to collect the primordial spirits of the cultivators in Yao Sek's star region, and use the spirit blasting technique? Good. Very good. Pass down my order. Close all the formation doors and strengthen the formation light. No one is allowed to enter or leave for now. In Yao Sec Star region, all the experts above the void fragmentation realm of the Yao clan are to rush to the star regions near the heavenly star, including the cultivators who are guarding the formation doors. No mistakes are allowed. Kill Qianqiu without mercy if you see him. The heavenly star was a low-grade cultivation star. It was very close to the abandoned star where Ning Fan was. Yao Xuesen had gone missing there. Ning Fan might still be near the heavenly star, or he might not be there anymore. No matter what, as long as he completely seals off the entire star region and orders all the experts of the Yao clan to surround the heavenly star, Yao Kong believed that he would certainly be able to gradually tighten the encirclement and find out where Ning Fan was. Once the formation doors are closed and the formation light is strengthened, the life immortals and true immortals who rushed to Yao Sect star region from other star regions would not be able to enter. Originally, Yao Kong wanted to kill Ning Fan with a borrowed knife. That was why he revealed Ning Fan's true identity to attract other experts to come and kill him. However, the situation today was different. Ning Fan possessed the secret technique of the Yao clan's progenitor. Yao Kong did not want to let outsiders obtain this secret technique. He wanted to keep it for himself. Therefore, he would not allow outsiders to participate in this operation to kill Ning Fan. He would only let the experts of the Yao clan participate. There were a total of 117 life immortals in the Yao clan that could be mobilized. As for those who were above the early human profound realm, there were 16 of them. Yao Kong believed that Ning Fan's death would be certain this time when the Yao clan sent out all of their forces. He was just a void fragmentation realm cultivator. Even if he was slightly heaven-defying and could kill one or two early human profound realm life immortals, how could he possibly fight against more than 100 immortals by himself? The news of the Yao clan turning out in full force to hunt down Ning Fan shook the entire Yao Sec star region, and all the star regions nearby it. Those life immortals who were trapped outside of Yao Sect galaxy thumped their chests and sighed. They had traveled tens of thousands of miles to the Yao Sect star field, but they couldn't enter. The eastern sky's biggest fat sheep was in the Yao Sec star field. The Yao family had come out in full force, wanting to swallow this fat sheep for themselves. Killing a void fragmentation realm expert could earn a reward of 10 billion. It was such a good business. However, it seemed like the Yao clan was going to monopolize it. A few old monsters of the true crossing realm were also trapped outside the Yao Sec star field. They looked at the reinforced domain locking formation with discontent. If the array light hadn't been reinforced, they wouldn't have used the array door and could have directly passed through the array light to enter the star domain. Now that the array light was strengthened, they couldn't enter even if they wanted to. I wanted to kill a junior to earn some money, but it seems I won't be able to. What a tyrannical Yao clan. You eat the meat, but you don't allow others to drink the soup. A true immortal of the crossing truth realm sneered. He was obviously very dissatisfied with the Yao clan. Unfortunately, he only dared to express his dissatisfaction verbally at most. He did not dare to attack the Yao clan. After all, the Yao clan had Elder Qing Yin standing behind them. Within the Yao Sec star field, there were still more than 20 life immortals from other star fields who were scattered all over the place. When these people heard that the Yao clan had locked the entire star field, all of them felt very lucky. They were the lucky ones. They had come to the Yao Sec star field in advance. They had the chance to kill Ning Fan and obtain the reward of 10 billion. As for those experts who could not enter the Yao Sec star field, they could only look at the fat sheep through the domain locking grand formation. However, they could not even get half a mouthful of the soup. These people quietly moved out and followed behind the cultivators of the Yao clan. Once they find the fat sheep, they would attack. Many void fragmentation realm rogue cultivators, bandits and bounty hunters who had extraordinary abilities also quietly rushed towards the direction of the profound heavenly star. Ning Fan sat on the giant body of Nieli without moving an inch, as if he was meditating. However, whenever cultivators approached him, he would attack them mercilessly, killing them and seizing their spirits. Gradually, Ouyingnuan had already finished setting up the grand formation. She was then temporarily sent back to the Yuan Yao world. Gradually, Ning Fan killed wave after wave of void fragmentation realm cultivators. Finally, Countless life immortal realm escaping lights arrived. He just stood outside the abandoned star, quietly watching the countless old monsters who were rushing to this place. It was unknown how many void fragmentation realm experts had come. There were at least 70 to 80,000 of them. There were also more than 140 life immortal realm experts. There were 7 to 8 profound ghost realm life immortals. There was only one profound ghost realm expert in the Yao clan. There were many profound ghost realm experts who came from other star fields. So many of them came just to kill Ning Fan. The corner of Ning Fan's mouth curved into a cold smile. The Yao clan really thinks highly of him. Even though he was being stared at by 70 to 80,000 void fragmentation realm experts, and more than 140 immortal realm experts, he did not show any trace of panic on his face. He had the chaotic ancient formation marks here. Once the Emperor formation is activated, the life and death of the enemies who come to this place will all be in his hands. Oh, you sure are calm. Do you know who I am? Yao Kong took a step forward. His blood-red robes fluttered even though there was no wind. His white hair fluttered in the air. His aura was imposing. I suppose you must be the clan leader of the Yao clan, Yao Kong. Ning Fan said indifferently. That's right. I am the clan leader of the Yao clan, Yao Kong. I have come here today just to kill you. Junior, hand over the jade slip of my Yao clan's secret technique, and I can let you die a quick death. What jade slip? Ning Fan was slightly stunned. Then he seemed to have understood something. No wonder this Yao Kong suddenly locked down the Yao clan's star field and went all out. It turned out that he had accidentally obtained the secret technique jade slip of the Yao clan. I wonder what kind of jade slip it is that could make Yao Kong pay so much attention to it. He had killed quite a number of cultivators of the Yao clan, and he had also obtained some powerful abilities. After thinking for a while, a thought flashed across Ning Fan's mind. Could it be that the secret technique jade slip that Yao Kong mentioned is the spirit blast technique? Junior, don't play dumb. Hand over the secret technique jade slip that you obtained from Yao Honglei. Yao Kong's expression turned slightly cold. As expected, Ning Fan patted his storage pouch and took out the jade slip that recorded the spirit blast technique. It was exactly this spirit blast technique that gave Ning Fan hope to fight against a true immortal realm expert, and changed his entire plan. Ning Fan thought about it and agreed with him. How could a technique that could even move his heart be ordinary? It turns out that this technique has quite a long history. Even the clan leader of the Yao clan values it highly. If that's the case, I'll just destroy this technique. After all, he had already memorized the finger seals of this technique. If he keeps this technique with him, he will only be coveted by others. Without the jade slip, even if others have taken a fancy to Ning Fan's spirit blast technique, they would not be able to snatch it from him forcefully. They would also not be able to search his soul and memories. They could only use a soft approach to obtain this technique. Bang! Ning Fan crushed the jade slip of the secret technique. Yao Kong, whose eyes were filled with excitement when Ning Fan took out the jade slip, turned extremely cold in an instant. You're courting death. How hateful. How hateful. Ning Fan actually destroyed the jade slip of the secret technique. If that's the case, wouldn't he have to ask Ning Fan to teach him the technique that he wants to learn? He would not be able to obtain the complete secret technique by searching his soul. However, it was absolutely impossible for Yao Kong to ask for an enemy's help. Do you think that I will spare your life if you destroy this technique? You're wrong. I have plenty of ways to interrogate you and force you to spit out the complete technique. After that, you won't be able to escape death. Pass my order. Capture this young man, and leave only his primordial spirit. I want to bring him back to my clan and interrogate him. As soon as Yao Kong gave his order, 70,000 void fragmentation realm experts and 116 life immortal realm experts of the Yao clan turned into rays of light and rushed towards Ning Fan. Their momentum was too great. Even Ning Fan found it a little hard to bear. Those void fragmentation realm experts and life immortal realm experts who were not from the Yao clan frowned. What should we do now? It seemed like Ning Fan had seized the secret technique of the Yao clan, and the clan leader wanted to capture him alive to preserve his primordial spirit. In this way, Those who wanted to kill Ningfan and ask for a reward would probably return in disappointment. If they really kill Ningfan, they would probably have to bear the wrath of the Yao clan immediately. It's not worth becoming enemies with the Yao clan for 10 billion Dao crystals. Let's wait and see. Don't make a move. Let's see how the Yao clan deals with this junior. One of the ghost profound life immortal realm experts sighed and instructed his disciples beside him. 10 billion Dao crystals. It's really a pity to miss this opportunity. However, I wonder what kind of secret technique that Junior destroyed just now. It actually made the Yao clan attach so much importance to it. Could it be the strongest secret technique of the Yao clan? The Spirit Blast technique? A peak human profound life immortal realm expert muttered to himself. There's no need to watch anymore. This young man will definitely be captured by the Yao clan. It's pointless for us to stay here any longer. It's better for us to leave. Another life immortal realm expert had the intention to leave. Ningfan stood in the whistling void wind and looked at the countless experts of the Yao clan who were coming towards him. His eyes flashed with killing intent. Since I can't avoid this tribulation, I'll kill to my heart's content in this tribulation. Gee. At this moment, Ningfan uttered a word and his finger seals changed abruptly. At this moment, the formation light that was covering the abandoned star behind Ningfan suddenly dispersed, revealing the abandoned star which had a thin amount of spiritual qi. At this moment, the empty abandoned star suddenly lit up with rays of alternating black and white formation light. In an instant, that formation light engulfed the entire Yao Sec star region. The attack range of this formation light was actually the entire Yao Sec star region. Even Ningfan did not expect this. No one knew that this corner of the formation pattern was actually this powerful. No one had tried it before, so no one knew about it. Within that formation light, there was a trace of extremely powerful, ancient and vicissitude qi. That trace of qi seemed to be able to suppress the ancient times, making everyone in this place breathless. Their expressions changed greatly and their bodies trembled. Ningfan was the only one who felt that trace of qi was very warm and comfortable. That was the trace of qi of Great Emperor Ancient Chaos, and Ningfan was the successor of Ancient Chaos. Countless terrified voices resounded across the starry sky. Emperor! Emperor formation! Which Great Emperor actually laid down this grand formation? Just a corner of the formation pattern actually has such terrifying power. Just a corner of the formation pattern is enough to kill all the cultivators below the true immortal realm in this star region. If this formation is complete, will it even be able to kill an immortal emperor? This formation is just too terrifying. Impossible. How can a mere void fragmentation realm ant possess such a terrifying formation pattern? Damn it. Damn it. This brat has already laid down a grand formation here, and is waiting for us to take the bait. He wants to slaughter all the cultivators in our Yao Sec star region. Ningfan's expression was extremely cold. At this moment, he saw the backs of countless life immortal realm and void fragmentation realm cultivators who were desperately trying to escape. The situation seemed to have turned around in an instant. Ningfan did not expect that a corner of the formation pattern of Great Emperor Ancient Chaos would actually be this powerful. Just a single corner of the formation pattern could cover an entire mid-grade star region. If he wants to, he could slaughter all the cultivators in the entire Yao Sec star region with just a single thought. However, he would not kill everyone in this star region. He would choose to kill selectively. He would only kill the members of the Yao clan and those bandits, devil lords and bounty hunters who came to pursue him. At this moment, Nieli respectfully retreated to one side while Ningfan leaped onto the abandoned star. His feet stepped on the ancient chaos formation pattern, as if he had become one with the entire Yao Sec star region. A trace of Great Emperor Ancient Chaos Qi entered Ningfan's body. At this moment, Ningfan had an illusion that he seemed to have become Great Emperor Ancient Chaos. I, Ancient Chaos, am going to bury the Yao clan of the Eastern Heaven in the galaxy forever. Those who help the Yao clan will face the same punishment. Chapter 725. I, Ancient Chaos, I'm going to bury the Eastern Heavens Yao clan in the galaxy today. Those who help the Yao clan will be punished as well. His voice resonated with the formation. It carried an unimaginable aura force and spread far and wide. All the cultivators whose cultivation base had reached the rogue immortal realm looked at the starry sky in disbelief. The cultivators below the rogue immortal realm had yet to notice the huge change in Yao Sec star region. To their horror, they realized that the entire Yao Sec star region had been sealed by a peerless ferocious formation. When facing the peerlessly ferocious formation, everyone had the misconception that they'd become meat on the chopping block, and they could only allow themselves to be slaughtered by the expert that controlled the grand formation. Their lives were beyond their control, and their deaths were beyond their control. Some erudite and knowledgeable people, upon hearing the two words ancient chaos, suddenly turned pale with fright. They had read about the name of ancient chaos great emperor in some ancient books. That was a peerless ferocious emperor, who used the chaotic rings art to sweep across the ancient immortal domain. He created the yin-yang transformation and cultivated two cultivation techniques at the same time. He was a great emperor who had passed away a long time ago. There were 1 billion immortal emperors in his era. His strength was enough to be ranked in the top 10, or even higher among the 1 billion immortal emperors. He was an ancient great emperor. His strength was incomparable to the immortal emperors of the future. I see. This corner of the formation pattern was actually set up by the ancient chaos land. No wonder it was so terrifying. Even though Ning Fan called himself ancient chaos, no one would really think that he was ancient chaos. The reason why Ning Fan said that was probably because he had temporarily merged with the chi of the ancient chaos in the formation pattern. The formation pattern of ancient chaos great emperor. The formation pattern of that peerless ferocious emperor. Yao Kong gritted his teeth. He did not run away. He looked at Ning Fan in disbelief. Looking at the peerless ferocious formation, his body began to tremble uncontrollably. Who would have thought that a void fragmentation realm cultivator would actually possess such terrifying formation patterns? A corner of the formation pattern was enough to destroy the entire Yao Sec star region. Qianqiu, what are you trying to do? Do you want to slaughter the entire Yao Sec star region? Do you want to destroy my entire Yao clan? Do you want to anger Elder Qingyan? You are courting death. I advise you to remove the formation light as soon as possible. Otherwise, near the abandoned star, Yao Kong was the only one who was still trying to stay calm and threaten Ning Fan. The rest of the people, regardless of whether they were void fragmentation realm experts or life immortal realm experts, were frantically running away from this place. Ning Fan's eyes were cold and emotionless as he looked at Yao Kong. It was just a gaze, but it made Yao Kong feel as if he was looking at the heavens. Destroy. A cold word came out from Ning Fan's mouth. In the next instant, a huge palm that was half white and half white suddenly appeared in the void. The giant palm was formed from the power of the formation. That giant palm was bigger than an entire low-ranked cultivation planet. The giant palm slammed down on Yao Kong's head. Yao Kong didn't even have the chance to resist. A dignified mysterious life immortal was directly smashed into meat paste by the giant palm. The power of this huge palm was enough to severely injure a true immortal at the early stage of the crossing truth realm. How could a mere Yao Kong resist the power of one palm? His corpse and storage pouch were taken away by Ning Fan. His primordial spirit was sealed by Ning Fan and kept into his soul pouch. The third one. Ning Fan muttered to himself coldly. Yao Honglei's primordial spirit was the first life immortal realm primordial spirit that Ning Fan captured alive. Yao Xuesen's primordial spirit was the second. Yao Kong's primordial spirit was the third. This was just the beginning. Yao Kong's death could not be hidden from those old monsters who were fleeing in a hurry. A dignified mysterious life immortal had his physical body destroyed by Ning Fan, and his primordial spirit captured by Ning Fan without any resistance. This scene deeply shocked the hearts of all the old monsters present. This formation was indeed terrifying and undefeatable. As for Ning Fan, who was currently controlling the grand formation, only true immortals could defeat him. Detestable. Why did my Yao clan provoke such a fiend? However, this brat is really arrogant. Doesn't he know who is supporting my Yao clan? Humph. If I don't die today, I will definitely ask Elder Qingyun to help me and tear that little brat into pieces. A late human profound realm life immortal of the Yao clan cursed while fleeing. His name was Yao Qian. Even though he was cursing, the panic in his eyes could not be hidden from the others. He was afraid. Even if he managed to escape, he would not dare to ask Elder Qingyun to help him and take revenge on Ning Fan. Would Elder Qingyun really stand up for the Yao clan? He had no idea. There was a rumor in the clan that Elder Qingyun had joined the Slaughter Palace after he was expelled from the clan when he was young. The reason why he took care of the Yao clan for the past few years was just because he cared about his kinship. His heartbeat was already in a mess. When a gigantic black and white palm appeared in front of him out of nowhere, he was almost paralyzed in the starry sky. At the next moment, that black and white palm mercilessly slammed down on him. Yao Qian's despairing expression was forever frozen. The gigantic palm easily smashed him into a pile of flesh. With a flash of formation light, his corpse, storage pouch and primordial spirit were all taken away by Ning Fan. The fourth one. Ning Fan's cold voice resounded across the starry sky with the help of the formation light, causing countless cultivators who were fleeing to tremble in fear. Yao Bing was a 7th heavenly layer void fragmentation realm cultivator. He was one of the 70,000 void fragmentation realm cultivators of the Yao clan. Before coming to the profound heavenly star, he had never thought that the 70,000 void fragmentation realm cultivators and 100 life immortals of the Yao clan would be scared away by Ning Fan alone. After witnessing the miserable fate of his clan lord with his own eyes, Yao Bing's entire body was trembling. If the heavens give him a chance to choose again, he would certainly not choose to be born in the Yao clan. He would never be willing to become Ning Fan's enemy. He had the ambition to become an immortal. He did not want to die. He did not want to die here. He wanted to run, but he did not know where he could run to. The entire Yao Sec Star region was within Ning Fan's attack range. Could he escape? Rumble. A gigantic palm that blotted out the sky suddenly appeared above Yao Bing. It ruthlessly slammed down on him. Yao Bing only felt a tremendous force hitting his body. At the next moment, his vision turned black and he lost all consciousness. He naturally did not know that he had been smashed into a pile of flesh by the formation light, and his primordial spirit had been taken away by Ning Fan to be used as a medium for the spirit blast technique. There were 80,000 void fragmentation realm cultivators who suffered the same fate as Yao Bing. 70,000 of them were from the Yao clan while the remaining 10,000 were here to kill Ning Fan for the reward. With just a single palm strike, the gigantic formation light destroyed 80,000 void fragmentation realm cultivators. If it wasn't because Ning Fan wanted to keep their primordial spirits to use the technique, their souls would certainly be destroyed by the gigantic palm. Rays of formation light flashed. Piles of corpse paste, storage pouch and primordial spirits were taken away by Ning Fan. 80,000 void fragmentation realm primordial spirits were obtained. A single palm strike killed 80,000 void fragmentation realm cultivators. All the life immortals were frightened by this horrifying scene. Luo Hai trembled. It was too late for regrets. He was an old monster of the ghost mystic realm. He could have dominated a region and become a respected ancestor, but he had come to the Yao Sec Star Field to get involved in this mess. They shouldn't have come. They shouldn't have come. He had originally come for the number 1 fat sheep in Eastern Sky. He had originally come for the 10 billion Dao crystals. Initially, he thought that killing Ning Fan was as easy as flipping his palm. However, things turned out contrary to one's wishes. How could that Ning Fan be the number 1 fat sheep in Eastern Sky? He was a wolf that had gone mad and wanted to kill people. 7 fiendish old demon. What intentions do you have? To actually set up a reward of 10 billion for this person. You've really done me a lot of harm. You've done a lot of harm. Luo Hai gritted his teeth and vented all his anger on 7 Fiend Sect. If it wasn't for the 7 Fiend Sect's bewitching reward, why would he come to kill Ning Fan? Why would he encounter such a desperate situation? If he could escape from Yao Sec Starfield alive, Luo Hai only wanted to do one thing. He slaughtered 7 Fiend Sect to vent his anger. Unfortunately, He was destined to not have the chance to vent his anger. The gigantic black and white palm covered the entire sky and slammed down from the void. Luo Hai did not have time to react at all, and was directly smashed into meat paste. Su Dao was a life immortal realm expert of the Eastern Heaven and Earth primordial sect. He was an expert in escaping techniques of the 5 elements, especially the earth element escaping technique. Every time he took out a handful of soil from his storage pouch and sprinkled it into the starry sky, he would be able to use the soil to escape billions of li away. He flew at full speed. He deeply believed that as long as he continues to flee with all his might, he would be able to get out of Yao Sek's star field and escape the attack range of the Grand Formation. Unfortunately, when a gigantic black and white palm descended from the sky, all of his confidence turned into despair. The 5th, the 6th, the 7th, more and more life immortals were killed in the starry sky. Gradually, there were already 74 primordial spirits of life immortals in Ning Fan's soul pouch. There were still 72 life immortals who had yet to be killed by the formation light. They were in despair. No matter how far they ran, as long as they did not leave Yao Sek's star field, they would be killed by the palm of the formation light. Finally, they stopped running. They had gone mad. They turned around and rushed towards Ning Fan's direction. If they had to die, then they would perish together with Ning Fan. Perhaps after killing Ning Fan, the Grand Formation would lose control and stop on its own. Perhaps there was no one who could stop the Grand Formation from operating anymore. Gradually, there was only one thought left in their minds. Kill, 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 kill Ning Fan. Since there was no other way out, they might as well risk their lives for the last time. Instead of dying on the way to escape, they might as well die on the way to counterattack. At least they have some backbone. Unfortunately, it's useless. Ning Fan's eyes were cold and emotionless. His 10 fingers moved rapidly and 72 gigantic palm shadows suddenly appeared in the starry sky, slamming down on the heavenly spirits of the life immortals. A series of rumbling noises came one after another. Each rumble indicated that a life immortal had turned into a pile of meat. Boom, boom, boom. Despair, resentment, anger, fear, pleading. All sorts of expressions appeared on the faces of these life immortals. In the end, their expressions were fixed forever. Ning Fan's eyes remained unmoved. Since these people wanted to kill him, there was no need for him to be merciful to them. With the help of the formation light, Ning Fan mercilessly reaped the lives of the life immortal realm experts one after another. In less than the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, all of the 146 life immortal realm experts and 80,000 void fragmentation realm experts were killed in Ning Fan's hands. Their primordial spirits were captured. The life immortals of the Yao family were all dead, and so were all the life immortals who came to invade the Yao family. However, this was not the end. Ning Fan had said that he wanted the entire Yao clan to be buried in the galaxy forever. Even though the main force of the Yao clan had died, their foundation was still there. To cut the weeds, one must remove the roots. The formation had been activated and could not be stopped. Now that Ning Fan had become one with the formation, his spirit sense could extend to the entire Yao Sek star region. If he wants to, he could fly to any place in the Yao Sek star region with a single step. After keeping Nieli back into his cauldron ring, Ning Fan transmitted his voice to her. You can refine the flesh and blood essence on your own. Eat slowly and don't choke. The corpses of the experts that had fallen in this battle all belonged to Nieli. With a sway of his body, Ning Fan directly vanished from the abandoned planet, disappearing without a trace. Azure River Star, Yao Sky Sect. The sect master was a great void stage old monster from the Yao clan. The cultivators of this sect were all from the Yao clan. At this moment, Sect Master Yao Tian was reprimanding the Star Lord of the Azure River Star region. Sect Master Yao Tian only had an absolute void stage cultivation base, while the Azure River Star Lord was at the 7th heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. However, Sect Master Yao Tian still dared to reprimand the Star Lord in front of everyone. It was because he was a member of the Yao clan. A mere void fragmentation realm Star Lord would not dare to offend the Yao clan at all. The Yao clan's overbearing manner was well known in the Eastern Heaven. It's your honor that I have taken a liking to your daughter. I will only give you 3 days to wash your daughter clean and send her to my room. If you dare to disobey my order, I guarantee you that you will die a horrible death. Sect Master Yao Tian looked at the Azure River Star Lord, who was half kneeling on the ground, with disdain. The Azure River Star Lord's face turned pale. He clenched his teeth so hard that they were about to break. His daughter had just become Dao companions with someone, but she had already caught the eye of Sect Master Yao Tian, and he wanted to keep her as his human cauldron. In the cultivation world, he knew that he was not a kind person. However, he could not bring himself to destroy his daughter's happiness and send her to be ravaged by Sect Master Yao Tian. As a dignified Star Lord, he actually had to be reprimanded by a junior, and he could not even protect his own daughter. He was unwilling, resentful, helpless and guilty. Ultimately, he did not dare to offend the Yao clan. There is still room for negotiation. As long as Sect Master is willing to let my daughter go, I am willing to give up all my wealth and give it to Sect Master. Azure River Star Lord said with humiliation. There is absolutely no room for negotiation. You can scram now. If I don't see your daughter 3 days later, I will send a message to the clan and gather experts to annihilate your entire clan. Sect Master Yao Tian snorted impatiently and ordered the cultivators beside him to chase the Azure River Star Lord away. A few Gold Core Realm cultivators looked at the Azure River Star Lord mockingly and dragged him out of Yao Tian's sect like a dog. As the saying went, the gate of the Prime Minister was a 7th grade official. Even a dog of the Yao clan would have a higher status than the Azure River Star Lord. You've gone too far. The Azure River Star Lord stumbled out of Yao Tian's sect. He was so furious that he spat out a mouthful of blood. He closed his eyes in despair and struggled internally. He did not know if he should sacrifice his daughter in exchange for the survival of his entire clan. Suddenly, the Azure River Star Lord opened his eyes in disbelief. He realized that the entire Azure River Star had been locked down by an extremely powerful aura. A white-robed young man suddenly appeared in the sky above Yao Tian's sect, while stepping on a ring of black and white Dao patterns. Yao Kong is dead. The life immortal of the Yao clan has been annihilated. The Yao Tian sect shall also be annihilated. This voice echoed throughout the entire Azure River Star. The white-robed young man suddenly raised his palm and pressed it down. In the next instant, a black and white palm print that was only 10,000 feet long descended from the sky. With just one palm, the entire Yao Tian sect was reduced to ashes. None of the cultivators of the sect survived. Sect Master Yao Tian was still dreaming of bullying a girl. Before he could react, he died under the palm print. This person is old demon Qianqiu. Isn't he being hunted by the Yao clan? Why is he here? He said that Yao Kong is dead and the Yao clan's fate immortals were all killed. Could it be that he single-handedly slaughtered all the Yao clan's fate immortals? The Green River Star Lord stared at Ning Fan with a trembling body. At this moment, Ning Fan had merged into one with the chaotic ancient emperor formation. He only needed to release a trace of his chi and it would be enough to suppress the Green River Star Lord to death. He definitely has the strength to slaughter the Yao family. He had really killed all the life immortals of the Yao family. The reason he came here to destroy the Yao Sky sect is to eliminate the Yao family by the roots. The Yao family is gone. The Yao family was actually destroyed. Ha 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 ha. Good, really good. The Green River Star Lord threw his head back and laughed heartily. All of a sudden he knelt on the ground and bowed to Ning Fan. Ning Fan, however, did not even look at the Azure River Star Lord. His body flashed and he headed to the next location. Flame Dragon Star, a branch of the Yao family. Earth Sea Star, a branch of the Yao family. Ghost Orchid Star, a branch of the Yao family. Ning Fan moved like a ghost. Borrowing the power of the formation, he shuttled across the entire Yao sect star region. One by one, the Yao family's side forces were destroyed. Ning Fan killed countless cultivators. Finally, he arrived at Yao Zongxing. This was the last cultivation planet in the Yao sect star region that still had cultivators of the Yao family. This was the main star of the Yao sect star region. This was where the ancestral clan of the Yao family was located. All of the cultivators above the void fragmentation realm of the Yao family had come out. The ones who stayed behind to guard the ancestral clan were just some void refinement realm cultivators. However, the Yao family's accumulation of millions of years was no small matter. Ning Fan stood outside of Yao Zongxing. His terrifying killing intent locked onto the entire star region. Countless void refinement realm cultivators of the Yao family flew into the starry sky in panic and looked at Ning Fan with fear. The 7 elders of the Yao family stood in front of the remaining forces of the Yao family. These 7 elders were not the strongest cultivators of the Yao family. They were the representatives of the 7 branches of the ancestral clan. When an elder dies, the next elder will be selected to be in charge of the clan's punishments and rewards. The news of Ning Fan slaughtering all the life immortals of the Yao family and destroying countless forces of the Yao family had already reached Yao Zongxing. The 7 elders looked at Ning Fan. They were obviously terrified, but they still gritted their teeth and pretended to be high and mighty. Old Ancestor Qianqiu, you've killed countless experts of our Yao family. Elder Qingyin will never let you go. If you stop now and cripple your own cultivation base, we can plead on your behalf and spare your life. Are you done? Ning Fan asked coldly. I haven't finished. When they met Ning Fan's cold eyes, the 7 elders trembled in fear. I don't want to listen to you guys anymore. All of you can die now. At this moment, Ning Fan raised his palm. Under the horrified gazes of countless cultivators of the Yao family, he slammed his palm down. A black and white palm imprint that was as large as a low-grade cultivation planet landed on Yao Zongxing with a loud bang. Yao Zongxing, a dignified mid-grade cultivation planet, was directly split into 2 halves by Ning Fan's palm. The powerful force of the palm spread out, and the cultivators of the Yao family exploded one after another. The 7 elders and the other void refinement realm cultivators also exploded and died. Before they died, their expressions were still filled with fear. From today onwards within Eastern Sky, there will no longer be a Yao family. Ning Fan's body flashed and he returned to Yao Zongxing's body. His hand was still in midair, showing the foundation of the Yao clan. The power of the formation was disappearing bit by bit. Even though the great ancient chaos formation was powerful, it was still only a corner of the formation patterns, and could not be preserved for long. Fortunately, with the help of the chaotic ancient formation marks, Ning Fan had already obtained enough void fragmentation realm and life immortal realm primordial spirits. However, if he wanted to execute the God bombardment art, he would have to kill and process these primordial spirits one by one, and refine them into secret primordial spirits. Without the secret primordial spirit, one wouldn't be able to use the Soul Blast art even if they knew the finger technique. In this battle, Ning Fan had seized countless storage pouches. In addition to the looting of the Yao clan's lair, the spoils of war that he had seized were quite abundant. Dao Crystal, 170 billion. A total of 207 million-year-old spirit herbs. There were countless types of 8th Revolution pills and many 9th Revolution pills. Life-saving immortal talismans, jade pendants, human profound, ghost profound attacks, and even a few true immortal jade slips. Inside the Yao family's ancestral temple, the Yao family's ancestor's statue was still enshrined, and it had accumulated thousands of years of incense. Unfortunately, these incense belonged to the old ancestor of the Yao family. He was already dead. Other than him, no one could take away the incense. Today, these incense belonged to Ning Fan because he had an incense flame puppet. Ning Fan took out his golden puppet. The amount of incense power in the puppet was pitifully little. The sea of stars worshipped his incense. The rain world also gradually began to worship his incense. The cauldron still had the seed of incense inside it. However, the total amount of incense they had was not even 1/1000th of what the old ancestor of the Yao family had. The power of incense was the power of faith. It was a special power that was produced through the worship of the disciples. It could only be used by the person being worshipped. Outsiders could not seize the incense. The amount of incense was related to the number of disciples, and also the time of worship. Ning Fan had too few incense followers, while the old ancestor of the Yao family had the incense followers of all the cultivators in the entire mid-grade star region. Ning Fan had only been worshipped for a short period of time, while the old ancestor of the Yao family had been worshipped for millions of years. Therefore, the amount of incense that Ning Fan collected was far less than the amount of incense that the old ancestor of the Yao family had. The power of incense was an important method for Life Immortal Realm cultivators to improve their cultivation base. If Ning Fan breaks through to the Life Immortal Realm, his cultivation base would certainly improve tremendously with the large amount of incense in his hands. After injecting the power of incense into his golden statue, Ning Fan temporarily stayed on Yao Zongxing and began to refine the countless primordial spirits that he had captured in this battle using a secret technique. As long as he refined the primordial spirits of these Void Fragmentation Realm and Life Immortal Realm cultivators, he would be able to use the Spirit Explosion technique. With so many primordial spirits in his hands, even mid and late True Crossing Realm True Immortals would have to be wary of him. Along the way, Ning Fan no longer needed to worry about True Crossing Realm True Immortals coming to kill him to claim their reward. However, if he overthrows the Yao family, there would probably be new troubles coming his way, for example, Yao Qingyan. Another example would be old monsters who were stronger than the True Crossing Realm who would be eyeing Ning Fan's storage pouch. Currently, Ning Fan had quite a number of Dao crystals with him. The matter of robbing the Yao family could no longer be concealed. Chapter 726. The Yao Sect Star Field's domain sealing grand array gradually disappeared with the destruction of the Yao family. 10 days later, the formation completely disappeared. The Life Immortals and Perfected Immortals who were waiting outside the Yao Sect Star Field immediately swarmed into the Yao Sect Star Field the moment the formation light disappeared. However, as soon as they entered the star field, these old monsters heard a shocking piece of news, and their expressions changed drastically. Even the true immortals of the True Crossing Realm could not remain calm. The Yao family had been destroyed. The murderer's name was Chiaki. This person had killed 146 Life Immortals and 80,000 Void Fragmentation Realm experts all by himself. This person plundered the entire Yao family, emptying the Yao family's millions of years of heritage. Impossible. That old ancestor Qianqiu is only at the Void Fragmentation Realm. How could he have the ability to kill 146 immortals? A Life Immortal Realm expert's face turned pale the moment he heard the news. He was just a Life Immortal Realm expert. Would he be killed by Ning Fan when he came to exchange his head for the reward? Monarch Formation. It was an Emperor Formation. That old demon Qianqiu possessed a corner of the formation runes, and used it to destroy the entire Yao family. The other Life Immortal found out the cause of Yao family's destruction, but he didn't feel relaxed at all. Impossible. Old Devil Qianqiu's cultivation base is just at the Void Fragmentation Realm. How is it possible for him to have an Emperor Formation mark? So what if you think it's impossible? Old Demon Qianqiu did indeed possess the Imperial Formation, and slaughtered all the immortals of the realm. This is an indisputable fact. Oh right, I heard that Ancestor Qianqiu slaughtered the entire Yao family and seized more than 100 billion Dao crystal. What? Over 100 billion? So many. The old monsters who entered the Yao Sect Star region from the Heavenly Water Star region turned pale with fright when they heard about Ning Fan's terrifying battle achievements. However, as soon as they heard that Ning Fan had seized more than 100 billion Dao crystals, their eyes flashed with greed again. As the domain-locking Grand Array opened, news of the Yao family's destruction spread like wildfire to the other star fields. Ning Fan's ferocious name spread across the entire eastern heaven at an astonishing speed. At this moment, no one regarded Ning Fan as a fat sheep waiting to be slaughtered. Ordinary Life Immortal Realm experts no longer had the courage to continue chasing after him. However, more and more true immortals were interested in Ning Fan. The reward of 10 billion could only move the heart of an early-stage crossing truth true immortal. 100 billion Dao crystals was enough to move the heart of an old monster at the peak of crossing truth peak. Currently, it was widely rumored that Ning Fan had plundered more than 100 billion Dao crystals from the Yao clan. A man's wealth is his own ruin. There was no doubt that these Dao crystals would bring trouble to Ning Fan. Of course, The biggest problem was the slaughter hall's clear cloud elder, Yao Qingyun. This person had once been expelled by the Yao clan, but because of old ties he supported the Yao clan. No one knew if Yao Qingyun would kill Ningfan to avenge the Yao clan. In the starry sky, a stargate suddenly appeared at the border between the Skywata star field and the Yao Sek star field. Then, a white-robed young man with towering killing intent walked out of the star door and walked toward the array gate of the Skywater star zone. The murderous aura on his body is so dreadful that even a true immortal at the early stage of the crossing truth realm would find it hard to withstand his murderous aura and devil might. Many experts were passing through the array gate of the heavenly water sector, including life immortals and perfected immortals. They all saw the white-clothed youth. They recognized him. He was Ningfan. Ningfan who massacred the Yao clan. He's old demon Qianqiu. 146 life immortals in the Yao Sek star zone died in his hands. There were a total of 16 life immortals here. 4 of them were life immortals who were in charge of guarding the heavenly water formation gate, while the other 12 were life immortals who were just passing by. When the 16 life immortals saw Ningfan's face, their expressions varied. There was apprehension, shock, greed, murderous intent, and dread. There were also 2 true immortals at the early crossing truth realm, who were staring at the white-robed youth with cold eyes. Their eyes were filled with greedy killing intent. In their opinion, even though Ningfan was infamous, it was all because of the Emperor formation marks. Emperor formation marks were extremely rare. It was impossible for Ningfan to possess a second one. Of course, they could not rule out the possibility that Ningfan had other heaven-defying means. If they kill Ningfan, they would be able to seize his storage pouch and obtain 200 billion Dao crystals. Why not? If they could obtain the Dao crystals without killing Ningfan, it would be even better. They could reap benefits without fighting. Hand over all the Dao crystals you have and we will spare your life. The 2 true immortal old men each took a step forward and spoke to Ningfan coldly with their powerful auras. Even though they were greedy for Ningfan's Dao crystals, they were still very cautious. If they could obtain the Dao crystals without fighting, they would not mind letting Ningfan go. If they were to fight and Ningfan used other heaven-defying means, it would not be fun anymore. Ningfan's eyes turned cold. He stood outside the heavenly water formation with baleful qi protecting his body. He was not affected by the auras of the 2 true immortals. Without saying anything, he patted his soul pouch and summoned 80,000 void fragmentation realm primordial spirits and 146 life immortal realm primordial spirits. After these primordial spirits went through special treatment, they were no longer living beings. These primordial spirits could use the spirit explosion technique. 108 life immortal realm primordial spirits could kill an early crossing truth realm true immortal. 146 life immortal realm primordial spirits and 80,000 void fragmentation realm primordial spirits could even kill a mid-crossing truth realm true immortal. The primordial spirits with blank eyes and dense death qi hovered above Ningfan's head while wailing like ghosts. As Ningfan's hand seals changed slightly, a terrifying wave spread out from the primordial spirits in the sky. That was the wave of primordial spirits that were about to self-detonate. If so many primordial spirits self-detonate, there would not be a single person left alive in this place except for Ningfan. All of a sudden, the expressions of the 16 life immortal realm and the 2 true immortal realm experts changed drastically. They were horrified. The greed in everyone's eyes turned into deep fear. The 2 true immortal realm old men in particular could vaguely recognize the ability that Ningfan just displayed. Fear filled their hearts. Even though the 2 of them had never seen the spirit explosion technique with their own eyes, they had long heard about the famous spirit explosion technique of the Yao family. The most shocking battle that the founder of the Yao family, Yao Hongshan, had in his life was when he slightly injured an immortal emperor with the primordial spirits of 3,000 true immortals. One should know that Yao Hongshan was just at the Shedding Void Realm at that time. Injuring an immortal emperor with the help of Shedding Void Realm was supposed to be nonsense. However, it became a reality in Yao Hongshan's hands. Even though he only slightly injured that immortal emperor, Yao Hongshan still gained the recognition of that immortal emperor. The spirit explosion technique was famous across the world for a period of time. Unfortunately, after Yao Hongshan's death, this technique was eventually sealed, and its fame was gradually forgotten by the people. The two true immortals could roughly tell that the technique that Ning Fan displayed was the spirit explosion technique. Moreover, Ning Fan had too many primordial spirits. If he uses the spirit explosion technique, perhaps he could even kill a mid-Duzhen realm expert in an instant. Once this technique is activated, all 18 immortals present would die. This young man must not be provoked. If we anger him, and he uses the spirit explosion technique, we will certainly die without a doubt. There is absolutely no possibility of survival. The two true immortals turned pale with fright. They exchanged glances with each other, and hurriedly cupped their fists to apologize to Ning Fan. "Little friend, please calm down. The two of us were just joking with you. Little friend, quickly retract your primordial spirits. You mustn't act rashly." When the 16 life immortals and many void fragmentation realm cultivators saw the two true immortals rushing to apologize to Ning Fan, all of them sighed with emotion. No one laughed at the two true immortals' cowardice. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that if Ning Fan gets angry and explodes all of his primordial spirits, none of the cultivators at the formation entrance would be able to survive. "Get lost." Ning Fan stared at the two true immortals coldly. His eyes were filled with monstrous baleful qi, causing the souls of all the immortals present to tremble. His tone was not polite at all. He just wanted to show off his arrogant appearance. The more arrogant he was, the more others would think that he had many trump cards and be afraid of him. Being scolded by a void fragmentation realm junior was a humiliating thing. However, the two true immortals did not feel humiliated. Instead, they felt fortunate. Fortunately, Ning Fan asked them to get lost instead of killing them. It would be best if they could keep their lives. This Ning Fan is really a ruthless character that cannot be provoked. The two true immortals no longer dared to stay at this place. They cupped their fists at Ning Fan again and left in a hurry. All the cultivators at the scene sucked in a cold breath. It was their first time seeing true immortals being scared away by a void fragmentation realm cultivator. Each of the old monsters looked at Ning Fan with incomparable respect. Old Devil Qianqiu truly lives up to his name. He isn't someone we can afford to offend. Even old monster Duzhen doesn't dare to provoke him. We must not offend him. After the true immortals left, the life immortals and void fragmentation realm cultivators kept quiet out of fear. They did not dare to look Ning Fan in the eye. With the spirit blast technique, even a late-stage true immortal would not dare to provoke Ning Fan unless Ning Fan exhausted all of his primordial spirit. How would they have the guts to go against Ning Fan? Each of the life immortals lowered their heads and wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. They did not want to have too much contact with Ning Fan to avoid getting themselves into trouble. The 4 life immortals who guarded the formation door swallowed their saliva and complained incessantly. They were responsible for guarding the formation door. Hence, they could not leave easily. When Ning Fan entered the formation door, they would also be responsible for verifying his identity. If they did that, they might anger Ning Fan and get themselves into trouble. The Heavenly Water Star region was just a mid-grade star region. With Ning Fan's Spirit Blast technique, no one would dare to offend him. Wait. The 3 of you can't leave. The rest of you can leave now. Ning Fan's eyes turned slightly cold. His killing intent locked on the 3 life immortals who wanted to leave this place. All of them were devil hunters with a bounty. From the very beginning, the 3 of them had wanted to kill him. Among the 3 of them, 2 of them were at the early human profound realm, while the last one was at the mid-human profound realm. Most importantly, the 3 of them had the insignia of the Pill sect on their bodies. They were probably cultivators from the subordinate forces of the Pill sect. The 3 life immortals who were locked on by Ning Fan's killing intent felt a chill down their spines. They panicked and did not stop. Instead, they moved even faster. When the other life immortals saw that Ning Fan did not make things difficult for them, they heaved a sigh of relief. They did not intend to meddle in this matter, and hurriedly left. Ning Fan did not even look at the other life immortals. His killing intent was always locked on the 3 subordinates of the Pill sect. Before Ning Fan kept the sky covering primordial spirits, He flicked his finger and 1,000 void fragmentation realm primordial spirits flew towards the 2 early human profound realm experts. Another 2,000 void fragmentation realm primordial spirits flew towards the mid-human profound realm old monster. All of a sudden, 4,000 void fragmentation realm primordial spirits self-detonated in the starry sky. The destructive waves engulfed the 3 life immortals. 3 blood-curdling screams were heard, and the 3 of them died at the same time. Ningfan did not collect their primordial spirits to use for his technique. Instead, he chose to kill them directly. As for the reason, it was naturally because he wanted to exchange the heads of the 3 bounty devils for the reward. The heads must contain the remnant power of the primordial spirits. Therefore, if he were to exchange the heads for the reward, he would not be able to keep the primordial spirits to use his technique. Ningfan killed 3 life immortals with just a raise of his hand. His terrifying means sent chills down the spines of the cultivators in the area. The 4 life immortals who were guarding the place swallowed their saliva at the same time. Looking at the 76,000 void fragmentation realm primordial spirits, and the 146 primordial spirits of the life immortals around Ningfan, all of them felt their scalps go numb. The 4 of them became even more convinced that they must never provoke Ningfan. Otherwise, they would be easily killed by him. After collecting the corpses and storage pouches of the 3 life immortals, Ningfan only kept their heads. As for the other body parts, he refined them into blood and flesh essences, and threw them into the cauldron world for Zili to eat. Zili was definitely the one who gained the most from the battle in Yaosek Star region. I wonder how much would Zili's cultivation base rise to after devouring the blood and flesh of all the void fragmentation realm and life immortals. After killing the 3 subordinates of the Pill sect, Ningfan's bounty of 10 billion devil heads was already on him. As long as he turns in the task, the disciples of the Slaughter Palace would no longer attack him. Of course, this did not include Yao Qingyun's. If Yao Qingyun really comes, Ningfan could only use the death exemption token that Wu Chun gave him to block the calamity. With this token, he could be exempted from all crimes except for those who betrayed the palace. No one could take Ningfan's life, including Sha Di. Even if Ningfan was not a member of the Slaughter Palace, Yao Qingyun could not kill him either. It was because of this token that Ningfan dared to take the risk of angering Yao Qingyun and destroy the Yao clan. However, even if Yao Qingyun did not kill him for the sake of this token, he still offended her after all. After joining the Slaughter Palace in the future, Ningfan's life would certainly not be easy. To kill someone, one did not necessarily have to act directly. With Yao Qingyun's status, he only needed to arrange some extremely dangerous tasks for Ningfan, and it would be enough for him to die 100 times. Putting Yao Qingyun's troubles aside for the time being, the problem of the Slaughter Palace's bounty had also come to an end. The new problem was the Dao crystals. Ningfan had too many Dao crystals. It was enough to tempt a peak cultivator at the Crossing Truth Realm. It might be able to tempt old monster Shikong. After passing the Heavenly Water Star region, would be the Sky Emperor Star region. It was a high-grade star region. The Star Lord of the main star, the Sky Emperor Star, was a Shikong. Now that the Slaughter Palace's disciple recruitment ceremony was approaching, Ningfan did not know if there were any other Shikong staying in the Sky Emperor Star region. In fact, the way to avoid being targeted by Shikong was very simple. Before those Shikong old monsters come to find him, he could spend all his immortal jade in front of countless cultivators. Ningfan's goal was to spend all his money in the Heavenly Water Star region. Of course, there were countless ways to spend money. His eyes turned slightly cold. He thought of the best way to spend money which would certainly benefit the sect master of the Pill sect for the rest of his life. Didn't the Pill sect put a bounty of 10 billion on his head? He would pay them back in their own coin. Due to the great battle, Ningfan did not have the time to collect the silver badge from Yao Zongxing's slaughter pavilion. However, the number of slaughter badges he obtained from annihilating the Yao clan was not small. Yao Li, the outstanding disciple of the Yao clan, was not in the Yaosek Star region. He had already gone to the Slaughter Palace and avoided death under the chaotic ancient emperor formation. The slaughter badges that the Yao clan plundered for Yao Li had all fallen into Ningfan's pocket. There were more than 1,400 silver badges. Ning Fan, who originally had less than 200 badges, now had more than 1,600 badges. To Ning Fan, who wanted to join the Slaughter Palace, this was definitely a windfall. Ning Fan remained silent for a while. He put away all his distracting thoughts and retracted his primordial spirit that filled the sky. Then, he walked towards the 4 heavenly water life immortals who were guarding the formation entrance. The 4 life immortals were extremely nervous. Before Ning Fan could approach them, they took a step forward and greeted him respectfully. "We, the cultivators of the heavenly water realm, greet old ancestor Qian Xiu." The 4 life immortals were actually treating Ning Fan with the same respect as juniors treating their elders. Ning Fan's eyes were expressionless. He said indifferently, "Who has the heavenly water celestial plate? Sell me one." "I have it. If old ancestor Qian Xiu needs it, you can just take it. There's no need to pay for it," the 4 of them said in unison. If they don't please Ning Fan now, when should they do so? That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.